to protect ICE agents.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. California officials accuse the president of breaking laws and are challenging the deployments in court. The LA mayor imposing a curfew last night, the first of many expected to help address violence and looting. A Fox News alert now, as we have just gotten word Brian Wilson has died, the visionary leader of the Beach Boys. Wilson was 82. He had been revealed early last year to be living with a neurocognitive disorder akin to dementia. He was the eldest and last surviving of three musical brothers. Again, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys has died. He was 82. America's listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Certainly an early summer feel across St. Louis on this Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, warming up to 89. It's the full strawberry moon of June. Mostly cloudy, 68. Thursday, partly sunny, 87 for the high Thursday afternoon. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, 84 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. You know your trees can't talk, but if they could, they'd be calling me. From trimming to treatments, we'll make your trees the healthiest and happiest on the block. Call us before your trees start giving you the silent treatment. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Taco to go, taco to, and a big Q. Taco to go, taco to go. Quick Trip Taco just $2.99. Comes with a big Q, they feel so fine. Brisket breakfast, so much to choose for $2.99. You really can't lose. Taco to go, taco to, this feels legit. Taco to go, taco only at Quick Trip. Taco to go, taco to go, taco to go, $2.99 to go.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Diamond Shop, 20% off all watches, even Movado, 40% off all men's in-stock jewelry, plus 40% off all pearl jewelry and in-stock wedding bands. Continues until June 28th. 10% VIP, extra 10% off purchase. Not valid for watches through the month of June.
Ever felt a nagging toothache or maybe a sensitive spot? It's frustrating, right? But don't let that worry hold you back. This is Dr. Michael A. White. I am dedicated to providing gentle, affordable dental care that puts your comfort first. Our experienced team and advanced technology will ensure a smooth, relaxing experience. It's just common sense. Don't hurt the patient. Call my office at 314-270-8552. That's 270-8552.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The New York Times is telling people, do not believe your lying eyes. Believe us, the people who spread the Russia collusion hoax, who spread conspiracy theories about Brett Kavanaugh. Believe us when we tell you that what you see on video from first-hand accounts isn't real. And as you point out, this is just weeks after they've all said, oh, we did such a bad job with Joe Biden when we said that what you saw with your own eyes was a cheap fake. And what are they doing yet again but saying this is a cheap fake? The issue, though, I think, is that unlike 2020, our corporate media no longer have the power to push this level of disinformation as effectively as they did then. People are wise to how they run operations, and they are not inclined to listen to them about this anymore. I mean, they still have power, but people understand that what they're seeing here, these riots, they don't want them to happen again, and they don't trust the corporate media.
Gosh dang it, Molly Hemingway, that's the entire thing I was going to say on the show today. Like everything that I was prepared to say on the show, Molly Hemingway says in that one clip, and the redundancy is real because Molly Hemingway is on with us at 12:25. Hi.
Hi.
Hey. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Did you guys keep everything when I was gone was just like easy and calm and agreeable?
Yeah, it was fine unless you had to fly through a layover through LA or something.
Ooh. I said I feel like Forrest Gump. When I was driving home from Orlando 4 years ago, what was it? We drove through Atlanta during the riots, the one where they burned the Wendy's or Burger King down.
Yep.
Like, we passed that Burger King within an hour of it being set on fire.
I think they're still burning that Burger King.
And then the LA riots, I was sleeping in an airport. Well, I wasn't sleeping, let's be real. I was with people who were sleeping in an airport in a layover. Coming back from Hawaii, I'm so happy to be back. It was a long vacation. I know some of you may have felt like that. Some of you may be like, why isn't it the Manny Fry Show? I like them better now. Well, too bad. You guys get to stay. Yay.
The Manny Fry Show portion is still here.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you, like 90% of you or whatever that were commenting about you wanted it to just stay that way.
90%.
We're still here.
90%
so don't go
of
anywhere.
the people or 90% of our listeners?
Both. 90% of all people who are listening.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That would be the share.
Well, I have been in Hawaii. Mahalo for being patient while I enjoyed time with my family. It was an absolutely wonderful vacation. I'd never been to Hawaii before. We did not overplan the vacation. We did not overbook the vacation, so we chilled a lot, and there was not too much chilling. It wasn't like at some point we were like, gosh, I'm really tired of sitting beside the pool or the ocean, watching the waves come in, drinking pina coladas, and sitting by the ocean and drinking pina coladas. There was no time where we were like, should we do something else? If that came up, it was like, yes, we should move from the pool to the hot tub. And then we sat in the hot tub and watched the waves come in next to the pool where kids were playing, drinking pina coladas.
It's funny because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I was just on vacation as well.
Yeah.
And we were on Ocracoke Island,
mm-hmm.
complete opposite coast.
Mm-hmm. Same setup, though.
But it's very much island life out there. You can only get to it by a ferry. You can't fly there. You can't anything. And we just chilled.
It was great.
Yeah.
So I didn't. One of the things I wanted to ensure, the reason I think that I was able to enjoy this vacation as much as I could was that I didn't watch the news. I didn't look at Twitter. I had people in my party, my family, who, because they don't eat, sleep, and breathe it for work, they maintained their normal interest level and things. And so I would brush by it, and I would like walk through a room, and there'd be Fox News on the TV, and I'd be like, well, that looks like an S show. I'm going to get a pina colada so I can sit by the pool and watch the waves coming in the ocean from the hot tub. And so that's how I did it. There were dust-ups. The Musk-Trump thing, that was the closest that I got to investing time and energy. And I'm happy to say that in the midst of choosing to sit by the pool and drink pina coladas, when I woke up this morning and I looked at my 6:41 a.m. Fox News alert, the headline is Musk says he regrets social media posts targeting Trump and more top headlines. So the main headline for the morning that I return on the air is that Musk was like, I was kind of dumb. Should have done that. And I thought to myself, good grief, I'm glad I didn't worry. I'm glad I didn't worry. The investment that we have in people who care deeply about the outcome of America, the idea of America, the understanding that we have something special in America. We invest our time and we give our energy and our very precious commodity of time over to these stories that are important because the outcomes of these stories matter for the future and preservation of our republic. It matters. These stories deserve our time, but they don't deserve our priority. They don't deserve to take over the things that really, truly matter most. And it is so simple. And I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling. It's not like work-life balance because maybe it is work-life balance, but that's like really big with Gen Z and maybe some millennials. Millennials are kind of an interesting bunch. The oldest millennials are maybe mid-40s. The youngest millennials are probably middle 30s, maybe a little bit earlier 30s. But work-life balance has been something that has been a topic of conversation, especially post-COVID, where all of a sudden we have a portability about our work life that didn't exist before and an understanding of how to utilize it and still be productive. I think that there is a benefit to caring about work-life balance in the younger generations that can help us be happier people. And I think happier people are more productive people. There's some sort of swing that has moved us culturally, though, into only caring about, when you say work-life balance, what you're saying is work is not the only thing that matters. And our parents grew up in a generation where their parents were incredibly work-oriented people, production people, because everything. Now, listen, I went to Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. I've been to all 3 9/11 memorials now, and I've been to Pearl Harbor. I think the Pearl Harbor Memorial and the 9/11 memorials have a juxtaposition that is a really interesting tie that binds over the course of generations. We watched the Battle of, I guess it's just called Midway. It's a more recent movie about the Battle of Midway. Have either of you seen it?
Yes.
Who's Nimitz?
I think, is it Woody Harrelson?
Yes. I was like, okay, let's wait and see. Very good movie. Very good depiction of the struggles that those Americans faced and the bravery that they showed. It made me more mad at the new Pearl Harbor movie after I saw. I was like, why did we show that to the kids first? We should have showed Midway. We have a generational care and concern for the preservation of the idea that is America, that has transcended the most enormous challenges. And I just think, Brian Kilmeade talks about this, A, in his books, and B, on his radio show, and C, on his TV show, and D, on his Fox Nation show. Right? Brian Kilmeade talks about this a lot. But America beats the odds every time. Why does America? You don't beat the odds every time. Nobody's that lucky. Nobody is so lucky that every time, like the crossing of the Delaware, and every time that you look at these things, that this is the sure end of the idea of America, we beat the odds. Why do we beat the odds? Well, I have my own thoughts on that. And if you've listened to the show and you've listened to me for long enough, you probably have an understanding of how my faith is at the center of that. But there's something good about America. There's something hopeful about America. And watching in this moment, trying to catch up in the last 48 hours, watching people inside our country, in California, destroying Los Angeles, that's their goal. Their goal is to wreak havoc, to sow chaos, to completely upend the system and wave another country's flag while they're demanding their right to stay in a country whose flag they're not waving. That makes no sense to anybody who has common sense. And we've lived in a decade now where the squeakiest wheel that gets the grease are the people who say, that person is a victim. We need to stand and listen to that person and let them. Good grief! Do you remember the mayor of Baltimore? I think it was after the Freddie Gray situation. Do you remember when the mayor of Baltimore said, "We're going to create room for them"? I think it was room for them to destroy.
Yeah.
They created a space so that these lunatics that were out looting, burning, and destroying their city would have a place to destroy, because that's what those people needed to do. That is uncivilized behavior. It is not a culture that you want to raise your family in. It's not a culture that the people who got in line and came to this country to provide for their families a better life than they could have had where they came from, regardless of whatever that flag was that used to be home. They came here for something better than the uncivilized behavior that is wreaking havoc in every blue city in a blue state across this country. These big blue cities, I was scrolling last night on X, and I'm like, please don't say St. Louis. Please don't say St. Louis. And I don't think yet that the behavior that we're seeing in Los Angeles, in Denver, in Seattle, in San Francisco, in Chicago, in New York City, these top-tier blue city, blue state areas. What was it? Was it San Antonio, where Governor Abbott said, I'm sending the National Guard in before they even get there? That's what happens. I thought it was San Antonio, or if it was Dallas or Austin or something. I thought it was San Antonio.
San Antonio.
That's the difference between, I don't know if San Antonio, how blue-red it is, but when you got a red state, that ish doesn't happen there. That's the difference here, and they're exposing the Democrats are exposing the whole game. Donald Trump is saying, we're not doing this time. We're not gonna suffer these fools anymore. These fools are not the people who make America. We will retain America. We will save the idea of a republic. And if you know what a republic is, you understand that it's the idea of democracy that is governed by a greater authority, which is the Constitution of the United States. It's not a simple majority rule. That's not what we do in this country. You want to preserve democracy? Well, you better go find a place that has one and then go preserve it, because here we have a republic. The squeaky wheel that gets the grease is the guy waving the Mexican flag on top of a vehicle that he commandeered in some way, shape, or form to tell all of us to sit down and shut up. No, you sit down and shut up. And we've had enough. And we sent Donald Trump into Washington, D.C. once again, against all odds, to make you sit down and shut up when your moron governor won't do it. When your idiot mayor won't show up to do her job. Watch and learn, if you haven't learned this lesson already. The only thing the Democrats care about is Donald Trump. That is all they care about. And Donald Trump, he's won the races he needs to win. Donald Trump isn't going to run for re-election again. As much as they would like the idea of him trying to be some sort of, I don't know, what would you say, king? Has J.B. Pritzker said he's not running for a third term yet? Sidebar. That didn't happen.
I don't think he's said it.
That didn't happen while I was gone?
No.
Just asking. America's done with that nonsense. We're done being nice at the expense of our future. We are kind people. America is enormously generous. The people who make up this country and the idea of America are incredibly forgiving. They're incredibly giving. They're incredibly generous. And right now, we have to stand by the person we sent to the Oval Office who is going to tell the Gavin Newsoms of the world, get out of the way. You're only in the way. I know that the most dangerous place to be is between Gavin Newsom and a camera. Get out of the way. You're done here. It's time for the adults to come in and restore order, because that's what civilized society is. Good to be back. Thank you for sticking with us while I was out on vacation. I had a wonderful vacation, but I have to say, I wasn't sad to come back at all. I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm grateful that you are here with us. When we come back, Molly Hemingway is going to talk a little bit about that law and order that the Democrats seem to care deeply about when it's convenient for them. Well, that is neither law nor order. Molly Hemingway on the Annie Frey Show next.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Let's talk about how Stewie and the Bagel Loan can help make sure that your mortgage is in the absolute best position for you. For those folks who have gotten a mortgage in the last probably 2 years, maybe pushing 3 years now, you may be able to secure a lower mortgage rate for yourself and refinance with the Bagel Loan, and you'll pay $0 in closing costs to go through that process. This could be an incredibly great money saver for you in the long term if you can lower that interest rate. Now, if you're looking to get a new home and you are looking to be a very competitive buyer, because right now there's not a lot of inventory on the market, so you need to be an attractive buyer so that you can get the offer in and get it accepted, the Bagel Loan is the way to go. When you call 314-324-4440 and you have access to the Bagel Loan, again, you pay $0 in closing costs. He can close in less than 2 weeks, and you can generate your own pre-approval letters once you've been pre-approved online. You don't have to wait for a middleman. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-414-3221. 800-414-3221. 800-414-3221.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account. That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. With that, that's not what Donald Trump wanted. He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines. These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in L.A., not in California, not anywhere.
Gavin Newsom, governor of California there, making sure everyone knows what the real problem is here in Los Angeles. Of course, you guessed it. It's Donald Trump. Let's get to our guest. Molly Hemingway joins us, editor-in-chief at The Federalist and senior journalism fellow at Hillsdale College, as well as a Fox News contributor. Molly, thank you so much for the time today. It's an honor to have you on the show with us.
So great to be here with you, Annie.
Thank you. You know, it's so predictable to watch the lefties in general. It's like, what is the issue? It doesn't matter. The problem is Donald Trump. They're doing it now. But it looks to me, and the polling suggests, that the American people are with Donald Trump on his willingness to get Los Angeles back in order.
Well, and it's really amazing when you compare what's going on with the Trump agenda now versus even 2016, before he was inaugurated. You saw massive pro-immigration protests where people took over airports. And I mean, there were tons of people, including normal American citizens, who were opposed to his agenda. Well, what happens in the meantime? You have increased understanding of the problems caused by rampant illegal immigration. You have the Biden administration bringing in millions upon millions upon millions of illegal immigrants every year, which adds to the problem. And now all of a sudden, public opinion is firmly behind Donald Trump. You have almost all Republicans totally supporting it, but also a majority of independents. But in the Democrat Party, it, of course, is unpopular. And so that's where you're seeing these protests, whether they're coming from illegal immigrants or just the people who support them in the Democrat Party.
Yeah, it's absolutely accurate. Molly Hemingway speaking with us right now. You know, there's polling that comes out. They ask people, like, do you support Donald Trump and his immigration approach and the deportations? It continues to show that the American people are supportive of the president. But I'm also looking at other polls that take place and in the form of what media are people consuming right now? Because when I pay attention to the dwindling numbers of the leftist agenda-driven media and the succeeding numbers of Fox News and the like, it seems as though they're not able to act foolish on the streets and then reinforce that message through the mainstream media. It's like they're trying the same tactics. Gavin Newsom's out there trying the same tactics, but it's not sticking anymore. Is that because of the media?
Well, I hope that's true, and I actually do think that's true. But given that when you look at polls showing how much people trust corporate media to report the news fairly or accurately or without bias, almost nobody believes that they do that, and yet they still have a lot of power. But you have seen this thing. They're doing exactly what they did for the 2020 BLM riots that took place all over the country. They're telling people, don't believe your lying eyes. Trust us when we tell you that these riots aren't really riots. They're actually kind of just fun times where people get to watch cars burn and people get injured. It's no big deal. But it doesn't seem to be working as well as it worked in 2020. It did work in 2020. I mean, you had corporations give $100 billion to BLM and its associated causes. That media-driven psychosis, mass psychosis, really paid results. They're trying to do it again. They're trying to make these riots go nationwide. By the way, they'll probably succeed. And yet I just don't think that public appetite is there. People are ready to shut down any riot, any threat to life and property that's going to take place in American cities across the weekend. Plus, the cause is not sympathetic. The cause is have no country, have no borders, have no reasonable immigration enforcement. And that's just not popular anymore.
Yeah, it is. It sure isn't. It's amazing to watch the amazing comeback of Donald Trump and have him get voted in, being very open and honest with everything he said he was going to do. Now he's going to do it. And then the left is like, can you believe he's doing this? And we're like, he said he was going to do this. This is what we voted for. Do you feel like the American people feel like, yeah, I voted for this?
Oh, well, he didn't just say it. He said it almost obnoxiously. Like every rally, you'd hear it 40 times. So nobody was confused about the plan to deport people who are here illegally. And again, people now understand even better. In fact, the elite's immigration plan was never popular with the people, Democrat or Republican. But now after we see, saw studies showing that like 1 in 4 students enrolled in government public schools are part of an illegal family. You see what happens to the hospital system and how overwhelmed it gets with rampant illegal use of the system by illegal aliens. And also just like traffic accidents. Like you don't have to be a rapist or a murderer to necessarily be someone who the American people are saying, I think we've just had enough of this. And so with so many millions of illegal people here and causing a strain on the system for citizens and for children of families who are citizens, people are just done.
Yeah. So we have 2025 now. It seems as though there's a manufactured outrage that's trying to be force-fed to the American people right now, starting in Los Angeles, and who knows where it will go. 2020, of course, the George Floyd situation, the I Can't Breathe movement. But here in St. Louis in 2014 with the Michael Brown death and the hands up, don't shoot lie that really fed into this moment that we're in right now. I feel like it is a natural evolution of it. How much of the maniacal outrage that we see, especially on social media, maybe the main news sources don't cover it as much because you can't really air a lot of it. I wish I could. How much of it is manufactured?
So I would say it's well organized. So it's manufactured, yes, but by a very well-funded and well-organized leftist architecture. This is another thing that I think people are more aware of. Even you mentioned the Ferguson situation. BLM got its start with the Ferguson riots and the lies associated with it, and they saw how effective those could be. And that turns into the BLM movement. Well, even these marches against borders and law enforcement for immigration law, they're all part of a well-orchestrated, like tons of groups are involved. They're providing the material to make it more difficult to restore law and order. But one of the things that I think is also very interesting, a lie was told about how these riots in LA started because ICE raided like a Home Depot line. That's like a complete lie. What actually happened is that the federal government was going after the Mexican cartels, the ones that control our southern border, but they were going after them for part of a money laundering operation. And that's when they started making arrests about that criminal conspiracy of the cartels. That's when the riots started, which, again, is even less sympathetic than the already not too sympathetic defense of illegal aliens.
Yeah, you've spent way too much time, Molly, digging into the truth and facts of the matter that it seems as though that's the most dangerous thing to this movement of outrage is facts and information. There's no time for that. And the closer you get to the facts and information, the more things seem to burn, the more danger our law enforcement is put into. I Googled, I was watching some Fox coverage on this, and it was a bionic face shield. I saw somebody unpacking these brand new boxes, and you could see it says bionic face shield or something on the box. And they looked expensive, and I Googled it, and they were like $65 a pop from whatever popped up on my Google search. You talked about the funding of this, and it seems as though the Trump administration sees value in finding out how are these protests and riots, how are they being funded? Do you think they'll get to the bottom of it?
Well, I pray so. If I were in the DOJ, which seems to have frequently only been able to prosecute January 6 cases and almost nothing else, I would take advantage of this increase of riot activity across the country, because it's not just going to be LA, to investigate the networks, to see where the funding is coming from. It shouldn't even be that hard to find out who paid for all these bionics face shields. As you know, these are not cheap. A ton of people are getting them. It also shows a plan, like a conspiracy to engage in a riot that is very different than what we saw, by the way, in 2021, but very similar to what we saw in 2020 and in preceding organized riot activity. They need to find out the sources of funding, the networks of activism, and use this as a means to finally go after Antifa and other far left-wing groups that have these anti-American ideologies.
So what kind of crimes, to fund this unrest, what kind of crimes could these funders be charged with?
I mean, it's like after January 6th, where you had a bunch of grandmas who had no idea they were breaking the law being charged with criminal conspiracies. And, the Department of Justice should have no problem figuring out what the charges are, but also because they're targeting federal law enforcement and federal buildings, that should enable them to use more charges to go after them, because it's actually, considered a worse crime to target a federal law enforcement officer than just a random person. So I don't know enough about what they can do, but they should have many opportunities to go after people. More like even just knowing how the networks work. Yeah. What are their systems of communication? What are their lines of funding? Are the people who are, and if it's like a big donor, like a Jeff Bezos type or a George Soros type, I think that would be good to know how their funds are being used to orchestrate these riots against federal law enforcement. So there might be many opportunities to go after like a high target person.
Editor-in-chief at The Federalist, Fox News contributor Mollie Hemingway speaking with us right now. You brought up January 6th, and gosh, if they said no one is above the law once, they said it a million times. It doesn't seem as though the main phrase that the left is uttering here. What do you think that the political outcome that the Democrats are seeking from this moment? What are they going to try to achieve through this?
Well, they're not doing a good job, I will just
Correct.
say. And,
that's why I'm asking. What are they doing?
It's absolutely true that political violence can happen from across the political spectrum, and it should be condemned no matter where it comes from. It's also true it's very common on the left. It's been common on the left since at least the 60s, where they use political violence as a means of achieving outcomes that they desire. The left has a problem because even though the vast majority of Americans hate political violence, hate the riots, hate the opposition to just enforcing our borders and basic immigration law, that's not true in the Democrat primary or in the Democrat Party. And they've got a primary coming up next year. So all of their most prominent people are having to bow down to this insane left wing of their own party because they need their support in order to have a chance at political success in the future in their party. But their party is just like every month getting more and more alienated from the average American. It's not just on immigration. It's on trans issues. It's on education. It's on, like every major issue where a lot of Americans are saying this party just seems so distant from what is normal.
Yeah, it's I just wince the whole time. I'm like, what do you? I mean, a lot of times I can figure out the political game and I just disagree with it. I'm like, I think this is all stupid. I just don't think that the Democrats collectively have a winning message. And I think the weirdest thing, and I'll ask your opinion on this, is I feel like a lot of the Democrats who are being, I guess, forced to participate in this know that their message is a losing message, and you have the Fettermans of the world exposing it, saying, I'm just not willing to go with what is usually a fully unified Democratic Party. There are a few cracks on the surface.
But even that is kind of been disappointing. When you see certain people on the left saying, you should not be waving a Mexican flag, or you should be not attacking police officers, they don't say because it's immoral or because it's illegal, because it's wrong. They say, because it looks bad for the Democrat Party. Well, you need to actually condemn it for real, and not just because it's bad optics. And so even the supposedly good guys like the Fettermans are not doing what they should be doing to speak against this violence.
The old right thing for the wrong reasons. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a very good point. Mollie Hemingway, an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Thank you so much for the time this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Annie. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mollie Hemingway, a Fox News contributor, of course, editor-in-chief of The Federalist, senior journalism fellow at Hillsdale College. Great to have her on. Brad, thanks for booking that guest for my first guest back. And then it was Wiggins America.
Yeah, well, I told Brad, you know who you should book? Mollie Hemingway. A couple weeks ago.
I have a feeling Brad's not going to let you get away with that.
And he said, that's a great idea. I haven't thought about her.
That's also not true.
We've
had her on before.
I don't know that he could get away with that without me calling him out.
Go on.
And then he did it, and I thought, I won't even take credit for that. But it was I guess it sort of was from me.
You can't even get your life straight. You don't even know what you're saying. I love having Mollie on the show. Did you miss me?
Yeah. Heck yeah. I should have joked there. No, we did not. We had a great time without you.
He's out of practice.
How much? Yeah. Who do you give crap to when I'm gone?
Ethan.
Yeah,
100%.
Those two.
So Ethan's glad I'm back.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Is your job easier or harder when I'm gone?
I was thinking about that. It's both. In some senses, it's actually easier to host because they have help for me to do the rest of my other job that I usually do when I'm the co-host here. But it's also you gotta do more prep. You gotta do more prep to do the hosting.
You kind of just have to always prep.
You never stop.
Which I didn't. I stopped in Hawaii.
Good for you.
5-hour time difference. Easy going there. Not easy coming back. We can talk about it in the 2 o'clock hour. When we come back, Wiggins America, how to end small talk without making it awkward and how not to.
Yep.
This is why I came back from Hawaii, really.
This is the stuff
you
were waiting for.
It was like, Hawaii is great, but I need to know how to end small talk without making it awkward.
I said, Brad, book Molly Hemingway, and then we'll do a great Wiggins America.
But do it right before my segment.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Well, you could just go to retirementkey.com right now and read the things that I'm going to tell you. But if you are 59 and a half or older, I love talking about celebrating half birthdays. Yesterday was Molly's 4th birthday, and 4.5 will be a big deal. 59.5 is a big deal for you when you are approaching retirement. Why? Well, you got to reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group to find out why. 314-993-9494. That's the number to call. And talk to Thomas Helbig, Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group to learn the important steps you need to do to protect the retirement you've saved up, to protect all of the sacrifice you've made over your working years. 314-993-9494. Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group. Tell them Annie sent you and book your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and find out how they can work for you. And then you can make the decision to hire them or not. But the phone call, I'm imploring you, make it. 314-993-9494. Online at retirementkey.com.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878. 800-948-7878.
Wait. Katie on YouTube says, I don't know what this is about. Looking forward to an amazing time check now that Annie is back.
Oh, yeah. The time checks were a little clunky while you
What?
Ooh,
Oh,
shots
no,
fired.
not at Brad. It really wasn't at Brad. It was specifically Monday.
Katie, you and I are going to text in the chat.
We did a whole... Did I come out of the chat? I'm coming back in. Don't worry. We did a whole time check on Monday with no microphones on. And didn't
Did
know
the
it.
alarms go off?
Oh, eventually.
Is that how you knew?
After we were done, we're like, well,
Uh-huh.
that was pretty good. And then the alarm started going off, and people
So
were
the
getting phone calls.
show was A+. The
Yeah.
time checks,
Oh no, yeah, the time checks were, I would say, subpar.
the thing that is sponsored. Great.
Yeah. So this time check is it's 12:46. Here comes Ethan. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Scott Jennings. It is not good for America to have foreign students here who do not love America. If we're bringing people here who hate America and want to take advantage of our system and tear down America and tear down the West, that's stupid.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins.
Oh, Wiggins.
Ethan, how were the time checks? You were here the whole time.
Well, Monday was a little bit bumpy. I personally enjoyed on Monday, Drew was on the board, and Drew has one time check where at the end he says the poll and everything, and then he goes, it's just Wiggins today. No Annie, no Brad, just Wiggins. And then he just got out of it. And then he just...
It just boom, then it started the next thing.
Was that when we had the mics on or off?
We had them on for that
They were
one.
on for that one.
That was one of the better ones because it was on the air.
How do we end this conversation?
I don't know. And,
I'm just going to leave.
And look, I brought this topic because it's one of the few ways that you actually can offend me. I'm very difficult to offend. But
That's not true.
If you
Brad,
are in a
back me up on this.
If you are in a conversation with me and it's small talk and it's like whatever, I don't care, and you end that poorly, like you make it clear that you do not want to be in that conversation with me, I am offended because I also didn't care to be in this conversation, and now you've made it clear that you have the upper hand. That you're like, I don't need this.
You
I need
thought
to
a
get
lot
out of here.
about this, like a woman would.
Does this
Yeah.
happened a lot, Ryan?
It does happen. And
To you, a lot.
Do you consistently find yourself in small talk conversations that you get left hanging in?
I don't know. I just know that it happens. I'm friendly, so I end up in a lot of small talk conversations.
How do you get out of them?
Here's how.
Nice.
Number one.
How do you get on with it?
There is a phrase that this small talk etiquette master, Joe Hayes, has said is the best.
Can I scoop it? Can I see if I can guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
From our listener Joe, who said on YouTube, best way to end small talk is to subtly bring your hands together if seated, and then gently knee pat and sigh out the phrase, "Welp."
That is a pretty good one.
That's the Midwestern.
Well,
Gotta
yeah,
go.
that's a good one. No, the way that she says is the best is to say, "Please forgive me, Julie." I don't know why she says Julie, but please forgive me, Julie. I must go.
Is Julie from KZK the
Lovely
one
to
who's always
speak-
ditching you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Julie Tristan.
She's someone you see like every day, too. It's even worse.
She talks to me
She
and
might
I
be
get-
the most friendly person in the building.
I go, well, please forgive me, Julie Tristan. I must go. Lovely to speak with you.
She's like in the bathroom right now.
She's going, wait a minute, how did I end up on 97.1?
Wait a second.
She says this is good because it offers an apology, immediately softens the blow of wrapping up the conversation, and it's clear that you are going to leave it.
Please forgive me sounds like I've been thinking about how to get out of this for a while.
I agree.
I don't think that would...
It's too formal.
Yeah, it's too forward.
Also, if you're not talking to somebody named Julie,
Yeah.
they're going to be super offended. Please forgive me, Julie.
My name's Jeff.
I'm Ron, but okay.
Did you just misgender me?
The other ways to do that, though, is using body language. If they don't get the hint, she continues.
Just keep checking your watch.
At least...
Just walk away.
Yeah, and these are the good ones.
Yeah. What is the source?
This is,
CareerAddict.com?
no, Career Addict. Ridiculous. I saved that for when I got nothing. This is prime material because you've been gone.
Oh.
This
is what you set aside for my return.
Yep. This is a CEO, an etiquette expert of 13
A
years.
CEO of her own company.
I'm not really sure. And a speech language pathologist who
Is that
completed
even really a thing?
her master's thesis on manners and modern etiquette.
You can do that.
She's a CEO of something.
Of her own company.
Of Joe Hayes
One-man
Incorporated.
company.
The next one, out after body language, because social cues can be a part of that, I understand, is to throw in a brief reference to the conversation itself.
Wow, we've been here for a long time. this conversation just seems to keep happening.
Oh, we're having fun, aren't we?
Very good. Very good. Very good. A+, A+. The way that she recommends is to say, it's been great speaking to you. Reference the fact that you're talking to them
had
at
the
all.
highest
This new
honor
generation
getting to
care
interact
about
with
each
you
other's feelings. Things sucks.
on this blessed evening.
The fullness of the quote she gives here is, lovely to speak with you, John. I must keep moving, but keep enjoying that golf.
But what if the conversation isn't golf, Ron?
Because now you were talking to Julie.
Yeah, it's hard.
We were talking about spoons.
Okay.
Wait, time out.
Okay, go ahead.
How do you end small talk conversations?
I usually go refresh my drink or something if I need to get out of it.
Refresh?
Yeah.
So you and Brad are talking in Brad's office, and it's small talk. You're catching up on the weekend, and you're ready to be done with the conversation, so you just go get more water?
Well, with
I'm
Brad, I
thirsty.
can just say, Brad, I'm walking away.
Okay, let's say you're talking to Julie Tristan.
Okay, back to Julie. All right, this hour is going to be called
He
Julie
doesn't have to
Tristan.
worry about that because Julie's ending the conversation.
See, in radio, you can just probably, especially if it's a different station, you don't know how the other clocks are, you just be like, oh, I got to go.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you just go to the studio and stand there.
But it's hard when they know when you're on. Because if it's 11 o'clock and I go, oh, shoot, look at the time, and I'm not wearing a watch, too.
Yeah.
And I just run away. That's one thing you could do in this business. You could just start running. Because people go, oh, man, there must be something going on.
The running has to be preceded by, like, a look of surprise.
Or an
Like,
alarm.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Like a time check with
Yeah,
mics on.
if you do it with your mouth, they're going to know, though.
Next
one, add a handshake. You're just talking to somebody, and then you suddenly reach out to shake their hand. I would say that's probably an indication you're done talking
And then you
to them.
just walk away? Don't say anything else?
You could use all of these together.
Oh.
Ethan, how do you get out of small talk conversations you don't want to be in anymore?
I did one.
Tell us your secrets.
I did one terribly earlier today with Wiggins.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
thought
notice.
I did.
It must have been pretty good.
I just said, well, keep stewing in whatever you're feeling right now or something like
Oh,
that.
that was bad.
That was so bad. I was
That
like,
was
how do
bad.
I get out of this
But
right now?
It sounded like you started with the whelp.
Oh, I totally did.
Yeah.
Then he came and
I
talked
literally
to me.
walked away. I was like, that was such a stupid way to end that conversation.
Yeah. Well, you walked in and admittedly said, hi, I have nothing to tell
I
you.
did do that. I was like, I got absolutely nothing for you right
Bobo
now.
says on YouTube, clap your hands once like you finished a task and say nothing, just turn and go.
That would have been better than what I did earlier. Well, keep stewing in your anger. I think that's what I said.
Oh, was it about me coming back?
It was.
Okay.
I did that to our front desk girl, Tammy, yesterday. I walked by,
stewed in your
said
anger?
something about fruit snacks. She did not connect, and I said, welp. And then I left.
Next.
These are bad ways to do it.
Oh, coming up?
So those are the good ways.
Okay.
This is the ways you want to avoid. Looking away when the other person is speaking.
Guilty.
Me too. But when somebody does it to me, I'm like, all right, buddy,
Have you
I
ever-
can tell. Just go.
Have
Just
you
leave.
ever been talking to someone who has crossed the line of like where you're just socially sharing time talking together And there's an appropriate amount of time to do that. And then you get outside of the appropriate amount of time to do that, and they haven't stopped talking. And then you're into this territory where you're like, I think you're taking advantage of me. Have you ever been into that area?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I think I need to teach you a lesson. Have you ever gotten to that part?
Yes, and I hate that I have, but
Do you have somebody in mind right now?
Yes.
Do you want to say a name on the air?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
Is it Julie Tristan?
No.
Poor Julie.
Julie, I like you.
I
don't know about Annie, but
she might be the nicest person in the building.
the last and worst way to end a small talk conversation is to do it bluntly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Just saying, well,
that's
see ya.
on the wrong side of the list. But that's when they've gotten into the place where they don't care or respect your time at all.
I'm really surprised that faking a phone call isn't on this list. That seems like the most obvious. Be like, oh shoot, I gotta go.
You've
take
said
this.
on the air that is your move.
That's a great move. And if somebody does it to me, I even appreciate it.
What
I'm like,
happens-
I know that call
What
is fake,
happens
but
if
that's
your
okay.
phone rings while it's on your head and you're talking to your wife about the emergency with the kids?
Like, oh my gosh, I'm blowing up. Getting tons of calls. So I think that's the best way. Or just fake a text, whatever.
Brad, how do you get out of small talk conversations?
Depends on who I'm talking to, but I do the whelp. All right, I got to go. Nice talking to you. Or
Brad literally in the studio here just gave us 2 thumbs up
Yeah.
while he was talking about.
He just
gotta
turns
go.
and just.
Yep. And then the other thing that I do is if it's Ryan and he's talking to me too long in the studio, I just start typing on my computer and working on whatever I was working on whenever he came in.
Oh, now you know, Ryan.
He does it to me too.
Awkward. I do it to Brad after the show all the time.
Yeah.
He's talking to me, I'm typing. Or he does it. I probably do it to each other because we're both trying to get
It's
work.
where I learned it.
Yeah.
How cute.
Well,
see ya.
Michelle Tafoya next. And that Riley Gaines, Simone Biles dust up, which apparently has apologies that have been given and accepted. But yet we have girls competing against boys in sports. We'll talk to Michelle Tafoya next.
Get ready, St. Louis. The Cubs are coming to town. June 23rd through the 26th. The Cardinals host baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium in a series that always delivers. The Chicago STL rivalry is legendary, and the energy in the ballpark will be electric. It's the perfect way to spend a summer day or night at the ballpark with passionate fans and nonstop action. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Sonny Gray, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Hey parents, looking for something fun and unforgettable to do with the kids? Bring the whole family to a Cardinals game at Busch Stadium. From kid-friendly activities and giveaways to awesome promotions like Kids Run the Bases. Your little ones will have a blast, and so will you. Check out Family Sundays, presented by Smithfield, where select tickets include a free jumbo hot dog and soda. There's nothing like sharing the magic of Cardinals baseball together. Make your memories this summer at Busch Stadium. Tickets are available at cardinals.com.
Artistic Decks can make your dream deck affordable. All you need to do is call 314-280-0821. That's 314-280-0821. Hustle and make that phone call because they are still able to complete your deck by the end of the summer season, which means you could be sipping lemonade or margaritas or pina coladas right there in the back of your home in your beautiful deck that was made affordable, of course, by the experts at Artistic Decks. They've been in business for decades. They understand how to deliver on the custom deck that you've been dreaming of, and they know how to make it affordable for you as well. While you're talking to them at 314-280-0821, ask them about their over 500 square foot discount and save even more on making that dream deck affordable. They work hard. They are creative. They are artistic in the way that they will achieve the dream that you have been seeking out for that deck on your home. 314-280-0821, artisticdecks.net.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
The president is undeterred. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That message from the White House.
President Trump
will never allow mob rule to prevail in America.
Spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt also accusing the California governor and LA mayor of siding with criminals over law enforcement officers and demonizing ICE agents over the rioting during protests on immigration raids.
They're attempting to use a violent mob as a weapon against their own constituents to prevent the enforcement of immigration law. This is deeply un-American and morally reprehensible.
She says immigration enforcement will continue. There have been hundreds of arrests in LA, and Leavitt says nearly 300 charged in the riot so far are illegal immigrants. U.S. Attorney Bill S.A. Lee.
We have FBI collecting video. We are collecting body cam. We're collecting social media. We're collecting everything.
He announced federal charges against 2 men accused of throwing Molotov cocktails. Democrats accused the president of flouting democracy with the raids and his federal response. A music icon has died.
Brian Wilson, the genius behind the Beach Boys, has died. He was 82 years old. Wilson helped create and define the sound of 1960s California with classics like Good Vibrations and California Girls, and the groundbreaking album Pet Sounds. Despite a lifetime of struggles with mental illness, addiction, and family turmoil, he remained a visionary force in music, later returning to critical acclaim as a solo artist and performing full versions of Pet Sounds and Smile. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988 and influenced generations of artists, including the Beatles. His family shared the news on Instagram, noting they're heartbroken, ending with the reference to his song of the same name, Love and Mercy.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Wilson had been living with a form of dementia. Again, he was 82. Just getting word that a New York jury has convicted Harvey Weinstein on the top count in a sex crimes retrial. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Certainly an early summer feel across St. Louis on this Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, warm it up to 89. It's the full strawberry moon of June. Mostly cloudy, 68. Thursday, partly sunny, 87 for the high Thursday afternoon. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, 84 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
RulerFoods.com. I was missing Ruler Foods grocery prices when I was on vacation in Hawaii. Saving on your grocery bill is a repetitive way to keep money in your checking account that doesn't have to infiltrate into your cart every time you go grocery shopping. They care about making sure that you can save, that you can afford the groceries that you need, and that you don't have to sacrifice the quality of those groceries when you shop so that you can save. This Father's Day, they have extra savings for you. You're going to have a 2-day sale coming up on June 14th and 15th only. Here's where why you need to shop at Ruler Foods for Father's Day. 40-count Kroger water, just $3.99. 4-count Kroger butter sticks, only $2.89. That is a huge savings. 5-pound bags of Kroger russet potatoes, just 99 cents. A 3-pound roll of 80% Kroger ground beef for the grill this weekend, $9.99. And a 15.4-pound bag of Kroger charcoal briquettes, only $5.99. Get ready for Father's Day. Celebrate big, celebrate dad, and do it for less, obviously. Find everything you need to know online at rulerfoods.com.
Have you ever had a wedding reception in your yard or scheduled a party, birthday party or whatever kind of party at your house, and during the party or a couple, 3 hours before, you notice your air conditioner is not working and it is the hottest day of the year? Or have you come home from a vacation and your house is baking? My experience has been that's when it will break. It just happens that way. So if that does happen to you or So, again, you don't need to have a party or you don't need to be baked. But if your air conditioner breaks and you need to get the cold air back in your house, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health. If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And I'll tell you, this past weekend was, I'll actually take you back. This happened on Friday night. So typically, I mean, I travel all the time. I'm all over the place, but I was home this weekend. I was so excited. Typically, I turn my phone off on the weekends. I spend time with my husband, my animals. Friday afternoon, get a notification on my phone. It says Simone Biles tagged you in something on X. I was like overwhelmed with excitement. Like, this is someone I've looked up to. She's a role model for me. Like, was so excited about this until I clicked on the notification. And of course, I mean, I had to read it like 5 times, click on the profile back, click on the profile, make sure it wasn't a fake profile. This was the real Simone Biles. And lo and behold, it was. As you mentioned, it has been the talk of X, really all social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, every article that has been posted. If you read the comments, Simone Biles is getting railed in them. I believe she truthfully incinerated her legacy with just 2 tweets this past weekend.
Riley Gaines, she's, of course, a swimmer who famously swam against Leah Thomas, also known as William Thomas, and has really led the charge on behalf of girls and girls' sports, defending the right for girls to compete against girls. This is not a difficult issue, and it's, I think, in the haze of the last 10 to 15 years of, you know, the way people identify, the way people present themselves, understanding that there are a variety of people who see themselves in a variety of ways. There was first, I remember, Ryan, when did tolerance, was that like as we were growing up? Like there were bumper stickers that said tolerance.
It wasn't the 80s. I would say that started in the 90s.
So tolerance, but then tolerance became bad. Like, how dare you just say that you should tolerate people?
Yeah, it quietly became bad.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't sudden, but it became, just like we used to talk about being colorblind was good. That kind of became a bad thing to be.
Yeah, even like the critical race theory understanding of Martin Luther King Jr.'s content of your character. Like, I don't want my kids to be raised to see color. And I don't want people to see my kids as a color. I want people to see the content of their character. That is diametrically opposed to what critical race theory educated and was that infiltrated the classroom, which is that the first thing you should see is someone's color, because now you know something about them. And now you know now you can identify the skin color of somebody and you can understand where you are in relation to them. and where they are in relation to you. And then once you understand that, now you know how to behave. Isn't it ironic that the movement of the far left identity politics progressives and critical race theory, by their own definition, requires you as a white person to identify a black person, skin color, that you are to identify yourselves so you know where you stand in society?
Yeah.
Racism.
Yes.
And your behavior towards somebody, first and foremost, you're supposed to see that skin color. And you cannot dismiss that skin color. Let's say that the skin color doesn't dictate, you know, if you're supposed to look at, I mean, I don't even know how to say this out loud because it is inherently racist to say that you would look at someone's skin color and assume you know something about that person, or assume that if there is something that is true about that person, that it only exists in the confines of approved context of historical oppression and victimhood and being the oppressor. You can't raise people in a society where that is the reality and have the outcome be equality. Because you're saying by virtue of the very first thing when you walk into that system is that you are not equal people. And you can't behave accordingly until you understand that you are not equals. In order to invest in equity, you have to understand that the system is unequal. And then you have to act on that. And the way you judge that is based on the person's skin color. So we have this whole movement that exists, you know, like you said, 80s, probably not 90s, tolerating. And then there was acceptance. Like, there are a lot of things in life that have nothing to do with sexual identity or, you know, whatever, skin color, whatever. There are a lot of things in life that I tolerate that I don't like. There are a lot of things that exist in our day-to-day behavior where we are tolerating the fact that things that, you know, if Annie ruled the world or if Ryan ruled the world, it would look like this. But, hello, I have the reality and the understanding that I don't rule the world, and I don't want somebody else to rule the world who can now control the way I behave, the things I believe, my behavior. If I'm not hurting anyone else and they disagree with me, we need to learn how to coexist. But we don't coexist anymore. It's the whole, like, critical race theory world is the opposite of coexisting with differences of opinions. It is now we've done the coexisting thing long enough, and you will sit down and shut up, and you will open your ears and shut your mouth. And then you get the world where boys are playing in girls' sports, and everybody is kind of scratching their head looking like, are you going to say something? and now society is like, hell yeah, I'm going to say something. This is absolutely crazy. Of course this is unfair. Obviously this is unfair. It is the irony of my lifetime. As a young girl growing up in the 90s, where we really had... Did this exist before the 90s, like girl power shirts? Do you remember?
That was definitely late 90s.
So I had some of those shirts, and I won't name them, but I had people in my immediate family who were like, I hate those shirts. But I never understood it because I was like a little mini feminist athlete who played sports, who was, I mean, I'm all the obnoxious things I am now. I was opinionated. I would stand up and say something if I thought something needed to be said. It made me respected in some regards and not respected in others. Like there were things that, like the societal understanding of this is what little girls are supposed to be like. This is how little girls are supposed to behave. That's for little boys. Like the separation of what boys and girls were doing in the 90s still kind of existed in an old-timey way, but there was an active feminist movement in the 90s to get through that. So I grew up in a society where I was playing sports. I did volleyball, I did basketball, I did track, I did softball. I played all of these sports, and I felt like as a 12-year-old or a preteen, and then going all the way through high school, like I was participating and fighting for the right to just play. And, the Caitlin Clark stuff, who is injured right now, and the ticket prices reflect it for sure. But Caitlin Clark playing girls basketball and being in a position to have all of this attention put on her. And then the Angel Reese thing that exists and their very dramatic conflict that exists around them. I don't really know how much of it actually exists between them. But it's a show, guys. It's all like they're selling tickets. If you've got it's always good to cheer for someone. It's extra fun to cheer against somebody. Or motivating, if not fun. I've spent my entire life as a female athlete trying to make sure girls had a position and a place to play sports. And they just you just kind of exist in your own world. You're just doing this. You don't care if people pay attention because they're not going to pay attention. And I've said this before on the show over the course of years, before Caitlin Clark, before any of this transgender infiltration into girls' sports. The fact that every time ESPN would put up a clip of some sort of girls' basketball, like maybe it was the NCAA finals or something, or conference tournament, whatever, they'd show maybe a great steal and they'd run the court and they'd make a layup. All of the comments were about, where they were all like, but when is she going to make my sandwich? There's so much sandwich conversation existing around girls' sports. Caitlin Clark changed the whole way that people talk about it because she's a special kind of player. Girls, my mom didn't get to play sports in high school. I think they maybe had a couple things that were kind of like intramurals that she could play, but she graduated in the 70s. She wasn't able to compete in sports. My sister and I competed at a high level in sports through high school. And now the progress that we have made in all of this time, the emphasis that has been put on girls being able to compete, and this is the kicker, folks. No, we don't play like boys. Why? Because we aren't boys. That's just the simple truth of it. We don't have the same body structure. We don't have the same strength. We don't have the same maybe level of endurance under certain sorts of tests. We don't necessarily have the same speed. But when we play against each other, we can compete. And if the world isn't entertained by it, we don't give a damn about that because we just want to compete. We want to play. We want to soak in the benefits of competing in a team sport. We want to know what it's like to learn and to train and to grow and to fail and then to succeed. We want that opportunity. And it doesn't matter if the world is not there to confirm that it is entertaining for the rest of them, for us to have the right to compete. We just want to play. Girls just want to play. And the way to draw attention to that, it is wild to me that in my lifetime, girls have ascended into the place where they can compete at really high levels. And they've shown that girls can do great things athletically across a wide variety of sports. And the political push of the progressive tolerance, coexistence, acceptance movement now shoves girls completely out of the way. And this is only for politics, folks. It doesn't even benefit the transgender community to shove boys into girls' sports and let them compete for the sake of inclusion. This isn't forwarding transgender rights. It's only squashing the rights of girls who have only ever wanted to play. That's all they've ever wanted to do. They just want to compete. And I grew up in a time where girls were fighting to say, no, we deserve the right to play. And girls are just as worthy of a basketball court or a volleyball court or a track or a softball field. We're just as worthy of all of those venues to express the talents that God has given us. We're just as worthy to compete in those events as boys are worthy to compete. And if it doesn't mean that the girls' basketball team at a college level doesn't bring in the same amount of money as the boys' basketball team does, that shouldn't negate the fact that girls should still have the right to compete. We know we're different. We know that it's an apples and oranges situation. We understand that. But we still have the right to compete. all of that is thrown out the window when biological males are allowed to fail competing against men and show up and handily win in competition with women. It is the most degrading thing to women that I have seen. This entire movement where you can put on a track uniform and wear your hair long and get your nails done and eyelashes, and now you're a woman? Did you do that on the first day of your period? Did you have to pay attention? I mean, good grief. The feminist movement of my coming of age time was women pushing and pushing for abortion so they could be as sexually active as males who didn't have to have any responsibility in their sexual activity. That's a fundamental right of biological women. You do not get to sleep with whomever you want, consequence free. Isn't that a biological admission that women are different than men? And the same political movement that wants to champion men who wear ponytails and press on nails or fake eyelashes while they compete in some girl's sport. That's the qualification to be a female? Like hell it is. On the worst possible day that a woman is existing, understanding all of the biological things that go along with being a woman, we still have to go out and compete on that day. You don't get to take that first day of your period off. You don't get to sit out because you're dealing with some sort of hormonal biological existence. You just compete. And you know what? You don't even go out there and talk about it. You don't make it part of the story. If you make it to a podium, you're not like, hey guys, guess what today is? You just live your life and you do it every day. That's what being a woman is. How offensive to say that all you need to do is apply some eyelashes. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. Riley Gaines calling Simone Biles out and Simone Biles reacting in a way that was just about body shaming Riley Gaines. Like the PR created apology, which I'd like to talk with you guys about a little bit later, whether you believe it's sincere or not. It's good that she did it. Even if Simone Biles never touched a word in that statement, it's good that that's the direction the statement went, because that means that the tide is turning. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Kush Desai is going to join us from the White House. Excited to have him on the show because we got some really decent economic news, which includes an agreed-upon deal with China, as well as some very positive inflation news. When are we going to get those rates lowered? What's the White House have to say about the economy on a Wednesday afternoon? We will ask Kush Desai when we come back. Don't go away.
Make a little loving, a little turn it oven on a Mason-Dixon night.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Oh, so right. My Dixieland.
Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
TheDittemoreGroup.com. If you're looking to list your home, if you're looking to buy a home in the bi-state region, the Dittemore Group, the very best, the number one team and the number one office in the Metro East. The Dittemore Group has the power of RE/MAX Alliance to make sure that your buying and selling goes incredibly smoothly. A lot of you out there might be interested in both of those things, and the Dittemore Group wants to guide you through that process. They are full-time at this. This is their career. They've got 50-plus years of experience behind them, making sure that they understand the communities that you are looking to buy in. If you are looking to sell your home, they understand what people are looking for in that neighborhood, and they can position your home for the absolute best top dollar sale. You want experts, you want honesty, you want truth, you want communication, and you want pleasant people. That's the Dittemore Group. All you got to do is call them directly at 618-531-4652, 618-531-4652. Reach out to the Dittemore Group. You can go online to thedittemoregroup.com.
If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
Taco to go, taco to, and a big Q. Taco to go, taco to go. Quick Trip taco just $2.99. Comes with a big Q, they seal so fine. Brisket breakfast, so much to choose for $2.99. You really can't lose. Taco to go, taco to. This deal legit. Taco to go, taco. Only at Quick Trip. Taco to go, taco to go, taco to go. $2.99 to go.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the preferred partner plan and be ready for the first heat wave. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lying somewhere.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
I feel there's nothing I can do.
Well, John, look, we got another month of positive inflation news. Despite these historic tariffs, the latest numbers do show that inflation remained relatively tame in May. So the big number is the annual rate that came in at 2.4%. That is a slight acceleration from 2.3% in April, but this was better than expected. Month over month, prices were up by just 0.1%. Again, that's better than expected, and that's actually a deceleration from what we saw in April. Now, one reason why these inflation numbers came in very much better than expected is because we did see a drop in energy prices. In particular, gas prices were low. Now, economists like to look at core inflation because that excludes food and energy, but that also came in better than expected. I'm digging into some of the categories. We did see that egg prices, they did fall on a month-over-month basis again, so that is a good sign.
So there you have CNN lamenting the economic success. I was listening on Fox News earlier today, and I didn't have the person's name up there, but it was a Democratic voice, and they were saying about the riots in LA, like, Democrats really need to stop talking and making the message be about immigration. We really need to see the Democrats shift their focus to the economy. And then I got all this economic news, and I'm like, I wonder if they understand the same economy that we're talking about here. Let's ask the White House about it. We are joined now by Kush Desai once again. We appreciate you coming back on the show with us. Kush, thanks for being here. Some positive economic news for Americans in today. What are your thoughts on the details that we've heard?
Well, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I think today we saw a great inflation report. It's the fourth inflation report in a row that we've seen under this president that came in beating expectations. So I think once again, because of this president's leadership, because of our America First economic agenda, we've finally put an end to the Biden inflation crisis that gripped our country for years.
Stupid question from a non-economist in myself. I'm a mom and a radio show host. I don't understand how these things all work completely. When inflation goes down, does that automatically mean prices go down for American consumers?
No. So we're talking about the rate of growth. So prices keep going. Will slowly but surely kind of go up, and the rate of that growth. Remember, the Biden era was going up at historic highs, where prices were going up for essential goods by, in some cases, 10-20%. And here, as we just saw, prices month over month, compared to last month, went up just by 0.1%. So a very modest, minuscule change in our prices here.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kush Desai speaking with us right now, Deputy Press Secretary at the White House. We also heard, in addition to the inflation number, Fox Business reports that the U.S. and China have reached a framework to implement a trade deal struck between the two sides last month in Geneva. That's according to Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. That seems like very good news that we are moving in that direction. In addition to working on inflation and getting that in order, of course, Donald Trump's effort on tariffs is a huge part of his economic plan. What do we know now about this deal with China?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a very productive 48 hours in London with our trade delegation led by Secretary Besson, Secretary Lutnick, and our U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. And yeah, I think we were able to sit down with the Chinese and hammer out some of these issues that we were having with the Chinese kind of slow rolling, sending over the rare earths that we really need, these critical minerals like magnets that we need for a lot of our electronics and for our cars. So that was a major sticking point. And I think, we were able to use some leverage that we have. And I think now we're at a point where pending, President Trump and President Xi to kind of approve this deal, we're in a good spot here to kind of get things back on track.
We're speaking with Kush Desai right now with the White House, Deputy Press Secretary. Is this on time? Do you feel like what the White House has been trying to do with these tariffs? China is the biggest fish of them all, at least from my perspective. Do we feel like those deals and conversations are happening in a timely manner?
Well, they're happening. They're not timely in the sense of this should have happened decades ago. These trade deals, when you look at the trade deficits that this country has been running for decades, it's just been growing and growing to historic levels. Every year we kind of beat the last year's record. So a lot of this should have happened decades ago, but this administration is taking it head on. And yeah, I think we're in a great spot here. Remember, the Liberation Day tariffs was just a couple months ago, back in April. We've already had a major trade agreement with the UK, one of our most important allies and trading partners in the world. And we're in a good spot to kind of get more trade deals going and signed with some of our other major trading partners. So we're in a very good spot here, given the hand that we've been dealt by just decades of bad politicians running this country to the ground.
Kush Desai speaking with us right now. Kush, we do a YouTube live chat poll every day. Today's poll is very basic. Did you vote for this? There's a lot of things that can factor in to somebody assessing their vote for Donald Trump and the progress that he's made this many months in. We've got, as you were talking about, the lowering of inflation. Now we've talked about tariffs. We've got the big, beautiful bill that's out of the House and into the Senate. And what I'm hearing a lot of people say is that they don't love the bill, but they do love Donald Trump, and they think that maybe this is just the best thing that we can get out of this particular moment in this particular time. How much do you expect the Senate to change the big, beautiful bill before Donald Trump puts a signature on it?
Well, look, I think first off, your listeners should love the bill. I mean, it's going to deliver historic working class tax relief. It's going to eliminate taxes on overtime in tip. It's going to put in pro-growth policies, letting companies that want to invest in America to manufacture in America be able to write off equipment investments. And that's going to turbocharge, combined with our tariffs, combined with our deregulation, combined with our lower energy prices, it's going to turbocharge manufacturing growth back here in the United States. So this is a great bill. And it does all of that while delivering, historic deficit reduction. And so, look, I think the sausage making is always kind of complex here in Washington, D.C., but I think we fully expect the Senate to get a bill together here that delivers on the president's key agenda items here and kind of, like I said, turbocharge growth here for the American people.
So one of the criticisms that I hear, and I think you might have some explanation on the weeds of how these things come to be in a Congress, whether it's an executive authority or a congressional responsibility. A lot of people want to see the DOGE cuts be included in this. They want to see all of that spending, that fraud, waste, and abuse spending be clawed back and be fortified in legislation. Can you do that with this reconciliation bill that the Congress is facing right now?
Look, at the risk of getting too wonky, I mean, no, this is a reconciliation bill. So this kind of governs a narrower set of the government spending than sort of what people kind of expect. And so, I think this bill addresses a lot of what we call mandatory spending, but we also have a separate rescissions package that our Office of Management Budget has sent to Congress to kind of lock in those DOGE cuts more permanently. So that's an ongoing process that's not just tied to this bill, and that's something we're working on every day as well, to find more and more waste, fraud, and abuse and cut that spending and deliver those savings for the American people.
So are you saying then that the big, beautiful bill, once that is signed, sealed, and delivered by the President of the United States, signed into law, that isn't the end of the pursuit of cuts and lessened spending by this administration?
Absolutely not. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. We are going to be working. I mean, remember, we have this administration is working every day to find and to identify and cut the waste, fraud, and abuse. And we'll be working with Congress very closely, like starting with this rescissions package that's coming up. It's about over $9 billion in wasteful spending. And we'll be working every day to find more and more opportunities for us to cut this sort of ridiculous spending that career politicians have racked up in this country sitting here in Washington, D.C. that taxpayers like your listeners are having to pay for.
One of the important parts of the entire economic approach that this administration has been DOGE. I was actually on vacation for the last week and a half. So the Elon Musk, Donald Trump dust up that took place the first day back at work, I get a headline from Fox News that says that it seems as though Elon Musk has walked back some of his remarks. He regrets them. Just right now, what is the state of Elon Musk's contribution with the administration and the partnership that still exists or may not exist anymore with the president?
Well, look, I mean, the Elon Musk was helped kind of create the DOGE initiative across the administration, and that work still continues. We are still focused on, like I said, identifying waste, fraud, and abuse and cutting it. And so that isn't going to change with or without Elon Musk in the picture here. But again, we remain focused on passing our one big beautiful bill to cut, deliver deficit reduction here and turbocharge our economy. So we've got a lot of things cooking right now, and we're focused on delivering all of that, then kind of engaging in this palace intrigue gossip that Democrats love to kind of sidetrack us with.
Kush Desai with us right now, Deputy White House Press Secretary. You can follow him on X at Kush Desai 47. Last question for you. What is the president's hope that this big, beautiful bill, when will it come to his desk so he can sign it?
Well, like I said, he's hopeful that we'll have this by the 4th of July, but, we're a little flexible here. Remember, we want a good bill that's big and more importantly, beautiful here. So, we're trying to get a lot done here, delivering a lot of the president's promises. So we're focused on making sure we get the right, the bill, kind of the right substance here. But hopefully we'll get that done by the 4th of July.
Yeah, well, we are looking forward to seeing the progress, what the Senate is able to do. You got to pick right now between the Republicans and the Democrats in the congressional baseball game?
My money's always on the Republicans, but, we'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time today. Always looking forward to having you back. Kush Desai, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye. Kush Desai is the Deputy White House Press Secretary. Good to talk to him about that. I snuck in an Elon Musk question. Feeling feisty on my first day back. He didn't answer.
Good for you. I was while you were interviewing Kush Desai, I was reading an article and looking at some of this inflation stuff, which you had started talking about with him. And in the article, it goes to, asked about the conversation, White House spokesperson Kush Desai repeated Trump's long-stated policy practice.
Oh, yeah?
It quoted him in the article that I'm reading.
I mean, the inflation numbers... Can you look at what the Trump administration is doing and what the Biden administration is doing? Can you be a sane person and look at the economic outcome of these different administrations and be like, I think I'm a Biden guy? How do you do that?
Not just personality either, but real policy. This isn't just, he was dementia guy.
There's no category. Yeah, if you're like, I don't even want to say that. That's not nice. But how do you pick that? How do you vote for that?
I don't know. I really don't.
You know how? The answer is you are only emotional.
It's got to be.
You only feel. You think nothing. Everything is a feeling.
It has to be. I mean, that's some of the protests that are happening right now.
That's why I'm so conservative. I have no feelings.
That's why I lean left. I'm all feelings.
Super emotional.
It's like an exposed nerve.
What I can't figure out, though, is it's like the old 2016, what's he going to come in and just wave a magic wand?
Kinda.
I don't even know how he reduced inflation this quick. The only thing I can come up with is that, as we talked about many, many times here on this show, all three of us said when he gets in office, he's going to open up energy production and let the oil flow. Day one. He has. There's still more to do. But he has.
And that type of stuff takes a minute to really seep into where we get to enjoy
usually
it. Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, how is it this low already? And he's doing the tariffs. I really don't know. I mean, it does look a little bit like magic wand stuff.
I was in Hawaii and just thinking about like how blue of a state it is, not literally, but politically.
Yeah, dabba dee dabba die.
Okay.
It's blue. Dabba dee dabba die.
You got to sing it like a robot.
Sorry.
I didn't know. It's like, gosh, I missed something else this past week and a half.
No, you didn't.
I looked up their conceal and carry laws. I think one of them said that you can get a license to open carry. And I'm like, God dang it, Hawaii. Why making Illinois? Like, you think all of the Hawaii tourists in Illinois are like, gosh, they don't have any freedoms here.
Wow.
Look at all these oak trees. They're beautiful, swaying in the wind.
I'm sure there's a lot of people from Hawaii going, you know where we need to do our next vacation?
Yeah.
Peoria.
I've been to Peoria. It's not bad.
I'm not knocking Peoria. I'm just, compared to the Hawaiian Islands.
Yeah, nothing is. There's nothing like it. Anywho, we'll talk about it a little bit in the 2 o'clock hour if you guys have questions. I don't know how much you guys want to hear about me being in Hawaii. I'm glad to be back. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, did you vote for this? And that's kind of the summation of me spending the last 48 hours. I started on the plane ride home, but we had about a 17-hour plus travel home because we had a 5-hour layover in LAX. We just stopped by and we're like, oh, look, riots, get out of here. Let's go to the other blue state. Yeah, I went from Hawaii to California to Illinois. That's why I'm here in Missouri right now.
Stopped in Idaho.
I got to shake the blue state off of me while I'm sitting here in St. Louis. The YouTube live chat poll is, did you vote for this? Because there's a no fudge brownies given approach to these riots in LA. The mostly peaceful protest meme of CNN that took place in 2020, would it have been? Or whenever CNN.
It was 2020.
Was that Wisconsin?
It's a good question.
I think that was what's the kid's name? Who shot that guy?
Kyle
Rittenhouse.
I think that was the Rittenhouse stuff. I think.
Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that Kenosha, Wisconsin was the, mostly peaceful protest and like burning buildings behind this reporter who I think I saw the same reporter in LA. And I was like, oh, here we go again. And you look at these places that have voted these morons in they're on the side of the rioters. They are on the side of the people who are burning buildings, assaulting police officers, and rioting in the streets. Their number one goal is to defend their own political ideology that if they were to cross it would conflict with the rioters. And I'm just sitting here flying, finally getting back into X going, you guys are idiots and everybody knows it. This time everybody gets it. And when the oxygen continues to get sucked out of the room by every leftist going, oh, can you believe Trump? It's like, I can't do that. I can't do that 4 times in a row.
Too much carbon dioxide as it is.
These people don't have enough oxygen going to their brains. I think we just figured it out. Everybody is looking at these riots going, come on, knock it off. We're tired of this. You've done this enough. We're done with this. Knock it off. Which is what grown-ups say to children who are acting on emotions without any rational, fact-based thoughts. You haven't thought this through, but you never even attempted to. You just feel. And your feelings, I was going to say are valid, but wrong. I don't think they're valid. I think the only possible tragedy here is that hyper-emotional people have been taken advantage by a political party that is obsessed with power and money, which breeds power, which breeds money. If there is a tragedy that exists here, it's that vulnerable people have been sought out by far-left progressive Democrats who are exploiting them for their own gain in power and gain in money. But I can't feel sorry for you at the behest of the safety and security of my family. I'm done with that crap. I'm done with keeping my mouth quiet, my mouth shut, if I ever did that in the first place. I'm done doing that when you're telling me that it's not my time, that I have to sit down and be quiet about something that makes the world less safe for my children. No, not anymore. We're done with it. And the rest of the country is like, yeah, I'm done with that too. People are going to be varying degrees of vocal, but everybody's done with it. It took a little bit too long to get there. Let's take a quick break. I want to ask you guys about the YouTube live chat poll when we come back. Did you vote for this? Brad and Ryan and Ethan maybe will come in here and tell us that they voted yes, all of it. I want all of this. This is exactly what I voted for. Maybe you have mixed emotions. You don't love what he's doing on immigration, but you love what he's doing on the economy, or vice versa. Maybe you're an unhappy Trump voter. Maybe you regret your vote. Or no, you didn't vote for Trump. Annie, are you crazy? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry and tell us, did you vote for this? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You call me strong, you call me weak, but still your secrets I will keep. You took for granted all the times I never let you down. You stumbled in and bumped your head. If not for me, then you'd be dead. I picked you up, put you back on solid ground.
Gosh, have you ever been sitting in your house and you're just sitting there trying to live your life or do work and it's just kind of hot in the room? And you know the air conditioner's, like, air quotes, working, but you're not cool. You're not comfortable. And you're paying for the energy to run your AC over and over and over again, but it's just not doing the job. You need Air Comfort Service. You need someone to come out and check it and see what's going on. There is a very good possibility you need a tweak here or something done there, and then it's fixed and you're on your way. Maybe it's more than that. Either way, you need someone to come to your home who can assess the situation and be honest with you. Give you true factual information, not make you feel like you're being sold something that you don't need. That's Air Comfort Service. I say that as a multi-time customer myself. If you call 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, find time to give them the call and talk to them about your air conditioning unit. If you have to replace it, you could save up to $1,700 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. But don't wait. Carrier Cool Cash rebates end on the 27th of this month. So if you contact them today, you can get a free estimate and be in line for dramatic Carrier Cool Cash savings. Call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Tell them Annie sent you. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Have you been notified that your subsidy for Obamacare health insurance is going away? Well, you can leave now while you're still healthy and qualify for much better individual plans. Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com has been helping people get affordable health insurance with great coverage for over 35 years. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan by you, not the government.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Hey, summer is finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zerorez's best deal of the summer. Zerorez can handle every surface in your home and business. Keep that in mind. It's carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, stone, upholstery, rugs, and air ducts. They've done everything for me. And this month, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and take $75 off the air duct cleaning. One of the things that's important is trust. I trust Zerorez. They have awesome techs. They have the legendary 30-day gotta love it guarantee. Now, here's another thing. Vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and the lifespan of your carpet. Period. Do not leave the deep cleaning to yourself. Don't go to the store, the big box store, and pick up equipment, and then you have to return it back later. There's no possible way with those machines to extract all that dirty water out of the carpet, leaving your floors worse than they were before. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and $75 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZerorezSTL.com or call 314-474-2020 and ask for the Mark Reardon Special.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-MILLION. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We're asking you today, did you vote for this? The options are yes, all of it, mixed emotions, unhappy Trump voter, or no, didn't vote for Trump. Your 4 options there for did you vote for this, the YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. We'll give the results at the end of the show, which is a little over an hour from now. 1:51, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
On-time news. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app.
Remember the words you told me, love me till the day I die.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Surrender my everything.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Yeah, you used to call me baby, now you're calling me by name. Takes one to know one, yeah, you beat me at my own damn game.
Well, I'm looking at some of the comments here coming in on our YouTube chat about today's YouTube live chat poll. Did you vote for this? Betsy says, in all caps, absolutely 100% voted for all of it. Gary said, yes, I voted for exactly this. I hoped and prayed for this time. Trump would kick butt and take names. And Joe said, yes, this is an ugly, painful, and messy issue, but we created this problem under the Biden administration by turning a blind eye. Ignoring this problem because it's too hard is not a solution. All right, Ryan, you go first. Did you vote for this? Yes, all of it. Mixed emotions. Unhappy Trump voter, or no, you didn't vote for Trump?
The truth is I'm kind of caught between yes, all of it, and mixed emotions. I'm going to go with yes, all of it, because it's so close to what exactly I was hoping to see. I still just wish that he would focus more on getting a balanced budget. But, you know, I maybe he is, and that's a part of it after the big, beautiful bill. I don't know, but I'm going to say yes, all of it.
Brad?
I'm a yes, all of it, and I don't have any reservations, so I'm at the top end of this scale. I like everything that I am seeing. I have seen less stuff this time around that I don't like than I did the first time around. I think that he's matured as a politician. He's matured as a leader, and I think that what we have seen over the past couple months is more than I ever could have expected in that time frame, and it's got me super excited about what the future holds. So I'm very excited, and yes, I voted for all of this.
We are 142 days out from Inauguration Day, and being, not even 5 months, about 5 months out, do you feel, Ryan, like he has achieved more than you expected in 5 months or less than you expected in 5 months?
I think he's done more than I expected, but achieved less. Which is odd to say because I think the promises of Doge was that he was going to cut more They can still get there. I'm not dogging on Doge, but they also promised that there were going to be a lot of deportations, and honestly, there have been a lot, but the pace at which they'd have to keep up with over this next 4 years to deport everybody who's come in from the Biden administration, they're not keeping up with that pace. So it's tough because I'm not sure what else he could be doing, but I'm also a little bit concerned that we still need to be moving faster.
You want him to move faster?
I don't know how he would, but yes.
Vicky said, I'm mixed emotions. I think I'm just exhausted by the first 5 months.
Okay.
I think a lot of people feel the drinking from a fire hose. They're kind of fatigued by it. I'm surprised that he's been able to get this much done in 5 months. That he's been able to address that it wasn't that we're not like, well, we're going to get to the Russia-Ukraine war in the third quarter. We're going to get to the economy. I mean, obviously that couldn't be the case, but we're going to get to the economy in the second half of the year. It really feels to me like the first 100 days, they wanted to get the ball rolling in a way that was not stoppable. Get it going downhill fast enough that you couldn't stop it from continuing on as many major issues as possible. And I think he's done that. Is there anything that's been left completely untouched? I could say maybe, people talk about the arrests, the Epstein files, trying to weed. People are like shaking their fists at the sky wanting to see arrests. I'm like, that's just not how it works. Mm-hmm. I think that stuff is happening. I think that stuff is being investigated. If at the end of the investigation you don't have enough to put cuffs on somebody, you just don't have enough to put cuffs on somebody. Unless you want to be like them and manufacture something. And I don't want to be like that, do you? YouTube live chat poll, did you vote for this? Annie Fry YouTube channel. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours. Based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
I love the opportunity that I have now to talk to you about Infinite Vitality. The website is infinite-vitality.com. And I want you to keep my name in mind so that when you call them at 618-486-1888, you mention my name, you're going to get a $50 credit towards hormone therapy, weight loss services that they provide there. Now, men, I want to talk specifically to you. Infinite Vitality works with both men and women, and I am, as a female, of course, working with them right now on some hormone therapy things. I want you to know, men, that if you are feeling blah, if everything is just a little more difficult, energy is zapped, you don't have it anymore, you don't have the desire to get up and go, to get stuff done like you used to, if you're putting in the time in the gym and you're not seeing the results that you want, you can do something about that. Don't live these years, these decades in the middle age of your life thinking that this is just the way it is, because it doesn't have to be the way it is. I promise you that. Call Infinite Vitality, 618-486-1888, and mention my name to save $50, infinite-vitality.com.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Facing First Amendment questions. Lisa Brady, Fox News. After the president sent the National Guard and Marines to L.A. responding to protests that turned violent over immigration raids, there's a focus on a big event this weekend in D.C.
A day after President Trump warned protesters would be met with heavy force at a Saturday parade for the U.S. Army, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt clarified.
Of course the president supports peaceful protests. What a stupid question.
Leavitt says the president does draw a distinction between peaceful protest and violence seen in downtown Los Angeles this week by anti-ICE demonstrators.
He supports the right of Americans to make their voices heard. He does not support violence of any kind. He does not support assaulting law enforcement officers who are simply trying to do their job.
Security officials expect a handful of protests around the parade route.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. During the briefing, Leavitt also said nearly 300 illegal immigrants had been arrested, appearing to suggest those were all riot-related. However, ICE sources say more than 300 illegal aliens have been arrested since last Friday all around L.A. County. The White House also criticizing Democrats who've criticized the president's federal response to the riots as unlawful.
We are still waiting for the Marines to get here. 700 of them have been deployed. We are told, by the way, that when those Marines get onto the streets of L.A., they will not have live ammunition in their rifles.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in L.A., where the mayor is expected to have a curfew in place for a second night. The jury reaches a partial verdict at the sex crimes retrial of Harvey Weinstein in New York, finding the former movie producer guilty of first-degree sexual assault, but not guilty of a criminal sex act, and they could not reach a unanimous decision on a rape charge, so it's not over. The judge dismissing the jury for the day, planning to have them continue deliberations tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Certainly an early summer feel across St. Louis on this Wednesday afternoon. Partly sunny skies, warming up to 89. It's the full strawberry moon of June. Mostly cloudy, 68. Thursday, partly sunny, 87 for the high Thursday afternoon. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, scattered showers and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms, 84 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Point Pest Control. That's pointpestcontrol.com. Point with an E. I love the people at Point Pest Control because they keep my home bug free. I got to have them come back to my house and spray on the inside. They have done an amazing job as a quarterly service subscriber myself, paying customer, to have them come out to my house on a quarterly basis and spray for bugs. We have so enjoyed the bug-free atmosphere. They'll tell you this, like if you have them come out and they spray your house, if you see a bug, you can call them and say, I saw a bug, and they'll come take care of that. They'll come make sure that they've sprayed for whatever it is. If it's another spider, if you get ants, they help you with that and they stick with you with that. And my experience has been when Point Pest Control comes out and sprays. They'll spray indoors maybe once a year or something like that, and then outdoors as well quarterly. They'll spray inside if you need them to spray inside again. That you're not going to have to call them back to the house, at least not for quite some time. Here's the number, 636-798-0023. If you've got mosquitoes plaguing your outdoors, they can spray pre an event. If you've got a graduation party or something coming up, don't have guests over to be eaten up by your mosquitoes. Get rid of them for that event. 636-798-0023. And mention Annie, and you're going to save an extra 10% discount off the top of any other specials they have running. Online, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholt of Kaufman Townsley. We've won the trust of thousands of clients who are victims of careless drivers. We have the team, the talent, and the tenacity to get you the money you deserve. Call 314-500-5000. That's 314-500-5000.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or our stores in Chesterfield, Arnold, or St. Charles. See site for additional facts.
Sponsored by Progressive. Progressive is here for all of life's needs with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at progressive.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
You know, we live at a time where everybody's supposed to kind of, you need to find out what your victimhood is. Like, what is your personal victimhood? Do you have one, Ryan?
I would say probably caring too much.
About what? Yourself?
Maybe.
Brad's put his head in his hands when you said that. He couldn't take it. He put 2 hands to his face and buried his face.
Everybody's laughing. I don't love that. I would say that's my victimhood, is people laugh when I talk, even though I'm 100% serious all the time.
If you have a victimhood, or if somebody's reinforced a victimhood for you, then you can have a chip on your shoulder about that. Brad, do you have a chip on your shoulder that you could maybe very well know is it's not really fair, but you still feel it? Like, obviously, you are white men, the two of you. Mm-hmm. I'm a female. So it would be easy if I wanted to listen to the people who wanted to rile up my emotions and then be an emotionally driven person for me to just assume that the world was coming to get me because I'm a female. And this is just the plight of the woman, which I kind of feel that way, but it's like a biological plight, which is doesn't even count anymore. Do you have a victimhood?
Man, I don't know. A lot of those got beat out of me in high school. So maybe it was my high school life. I had bad high school experience. So maybe that's my victimhood. I always go back to that and I'm like, I hated that time. And then people talk about their high school careers.
Were you overweight? Now people
not as overweight as I had gotten.
And I'm not like, that's not just a random
like,
question.
Were you a fat kid?
No, to Brad. But Brad's talked about.
You had a bad time in high school. Does that mean you were fat?
Kinda.
No. He's talked about losing 100 pounds.
Yes.
He's talked about having 3 heart attacks. It's part of his story. But
Yeah.
maybe some people who are newer don't know that. But was it were you picked on because of that?
No, not specifically. I mean, I was bigger, but I wasn't like morbidly obese or anything like that in high school. So it was more of like, I don't know, it was just like I didn't have the confidence kind of thing, and that I was an easy target, and so that's why they picked on me.
I could see I had a really, really rough junior high socially. I was very isolated and left out, but like aggressively left out of things. And I mean, the majority of people who I dealt with at that point, I have no problem with them as a 41-year-old woman. But that does leave a chip on your shoulder. And if you see the world only through that vein, boy, are you kind of pulling yourself out of participation in everyday activities, you know? Do you have? You don't have one, do you?
What, a time of my life?
A
that
victimhood.
was- I don't know. I mean, junior high sucked.
But
so,
like,
yeah.
but something that exists in your life, you know, like I was saying, as a female, I could perceive a lot of things to be happening to me because I'm a female. And sometimes that, but many times it might not be.
Well, this is a weird one because it's very niche, but during COVID and even still a little bit, I'm like, people look at me because I clear my throat a lot, I cough because of cystic fibrosis. And if I was in a place where, like a plane or somewhere where people are really hyper-focused on that kind of thing,
You're seeing judgment
I know
that might
that-
be there, but also judgment that might not be
it
there.
might not, but you don't know, but you know that there's an increased level of possibility that that's happening.
You have a hypersensitivity to it.
And that still may happen now, not just because of COVID, but yes.
Congresswoman Sanchez was in a hearing, I think this was today, with Scott Bessent.
In fact, we've already seen that prices are rising on many everyday goods.
No,
And they-
Congresswoman,
Please
today,
don't interrupt
today
me.
we had
The
a
time is mine.
1.1
The time
increase.
is mine. Please don't interrupt
And-
me.
and
I will
Wal-
ask you
Wal-
questions and I will grant you an opportunity to answer them, but please don't interrupt me during my time.
With pleasure.
Okay, I know I'm a woman, but please try to limit yourself to answering my questions. No, I'm sorry, but we get talked over all the time, and I don't want that to happen at this.
Maybe it's because you don't shut up. Just kidding.
Yep, let's go to break. That's pretty much what
I
happened
was
there.
just quoting what Ryan said while she was talking in the studio that you couldn't hear.
I was off air. I'm like, man, does this lady ever shut up?
Oh, come on. It's too easy, guys.
That's
If you're
funny.
female and you heard that and you got mad at me, knock it off.
Well, the whole room went, oh.
Yeah, here she is in Congress. She won an election. She's in Congress. She thinks that because she's a woman, that she can spew lies and mistruths that can't be countered by anyone because she's a woman. This is how you take a victimhood, you amplify it so you can take what was perceived as a weakness, turn it into a strength, and that only works if everybody agrees to it. And Bessent was like, yeah, you are a woman.
It was like he heard the reaction of the room. It was like, I think my job here is done. I don't think I need to say anything else. And plus, his point got through better because of that.
He needed to just do one of those like big eyebrow raises, eye rolls. It was like, okay.
They need to have an extra camera on the person being questioned that they can look to, like Jim from The Office. Like, whoa, okay. Hey, whoa. The lady's getting a little out of control.
Do you I mean, gosh, the loudest mouths in Congress are women. What do you think, Ryan? You
Well,
agree?
I don't know who that lady was, but
I
am
don't know.
thinking
That's why I
about-
called her Congresswoman Sanchez. That's
What's
all
it-
I know about her.
What's-
It's on a plate in front of her.
What's the lady De La Rosa with the purple hair? Now that lady, she definitely does not know what she's doing when she starts questioning people. And it is fun.
I wish Bessent would have been like, well, like Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, I didn't want to assume. Your rules, your rules.
Oh man, can you imagine if he goes, "Oh, I didn't know for sure."
And then
how you identified?
And then in real life, some of those thug glasses and cigarettes come down on his face. He just has one and he just puts it on himself. Politics is fun, guys, if you really want it to be.
It's getting there. It's a little more like British Parliament now. Remember when Mark Wayne McMullen was like, Let's fight.
Yeah. He's like, I'm good at that.
You want to go in the octagon? Let's do it.
I don't. How many Congresswoman Sanchez's are there? Congresswoman Sanchez.
Are there a lot?
Spouse. Just checking. Ooh, married. Wait, is that the same Congresswoman? Loretta Sanchez, if that's the right person. Hard to tell. Yeah, I think that's her.
I didn't know how you identified Loretta. He should have done that.
She's married. I wonder if that's a happy marriage. Every argument, oh, it's because I'm a woman.
You know what she needs to do is argue more with her spouse about inflation numbers. Because he may have had a little bit to say about that, and that she could have avoided doing it in Congress.
What does he do? Jack Einwichter.
What did you say her first name was? Because I've got Linda Sanchez.
Is that the okay? Are we talking? Ooh, that might be Linda. If you look at Loretta and Linda, they kind of look at the same.
Uh-oh.
I think that's Linda Sanchez.
I do too. I think that's Linda Sanchez.
Spouse.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Jim Sullivan. Wouldn't it be? Do you? If you're that person in Congress, had a public hearing to Scott Bessent, are you that person everywhere? I know you think you can talk over me because I'm a woman. I don't understand like that. You are accepting a degradation of who you are, like a cultural degradation. You are validating it when you say that, aren't you?
Yes, and you are that person. There's no way that you decided, oh, you know what? In this moment, I could probably play the woman card. I don't usually like to do that, but I'm going to do it here.
Isn't she also, by saying, like, I know you will not talk over me, I know I'm a woman, isn't she, by virtue of saying that to a man, saying that you can treat men that way? She wouldn't say that to a woman, right?
Right.
Yes.
And again, these are based on the common sense acceptance of biological male and female, because in their world, none of this makes any sense because everything would have had to have been stated. Do you remember when Kamala Harris opened that meeting and she like gave all of those details about?
Oh, yeah.
I did read later on that there was a person or persons at that table who were either deaf or blind.
Yeah, because she described like, and I'm wearing a blue suit.
Yes. Yeah. Probably blind. And she was like articulating what it is. But we've seen even national figures, foreign political figures acknowledge land ownership. All of this stuff is so virtue signaling nonsense. It doesn't really mean anything to real people. At the end of the day, if you're in government, the question is, how are you serving the country's people? And when you have Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, sitting there, and she's saying things about prices going up, and if prices are not going up, and the Secretary of Treasury is supposed to sit there and keep his mouth shut because he's a man, none of that would have been in play if the Secretary of Treasury was Scarlett Bessent. In the library.
Or if Scott Bessent went out for South Carolina women's soccer.
I am a female softball player. And she's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is so unnerving.
And I'm the Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, look at my success.
He's 100% right about the facts of that argument.
Yeah, but her retort is, yes, you are not allowed to speak.
It's so funny when these rando reps, some of them are really good at it. And then some people like this, they get a couple minutes and they're like, Representative Sanchez, I don't remember your first name. Why don't you go up there?
Linda or Loretta, one or the other.
Either way. And they're like, oh, great, I got some good talking points. You're talking to Scott. I wouldn't want to question Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, because that guy's super smart on economics.
Did you hear that there was a physical dust-up between him and Elon Musk?
I did hear that.
Did you guys talk about that?
No.
No, we didn't.
How mainstream is that rumor?
I think we've all heard it, but there was no way for us to verify it, so we just didn't address it.
I think it's mainstream enough that Trump actually addressed it.
I mean, this is Hawaii Annie dipping in and going, what? Bye.
I know.
Pina colada, please. But
it's a funny story.
The allegation is that there was a physical altercation between Bessent and Elon Musk, and that's where his black eye came from, not from Little X, who Elon Musk said that he told Little X, punch me in the face. These are all believable stories.
I don't know. I think that there two things could be true here. That the black eye is separate from whatever this altercation is, and the altercation could have actually happened. I did read that they told Trump about it at the time, not since the reports come out, but at the time that it happened. And this is why I was like...
The time that what happened?
At the time that there was the little dust-up between Bessent and Musk, both of whom are really tall, big guys. But they told Trump about it because he wasn't there. And Trump, it sounded like Trump goes, WTF or something like, what is happening?
The amount of restraint shown by Donald Trump in being like, Elon's a good guy. He didn't need this, which is what he's been saying this whole time. And Musk is like, Trump is on the Epstein list. Just you wait, pin this tweet. I'm going to delete it later, but pin it for now. And Trump's like, he was very good at what and I wish him well. And I'm like, something's up here. Go ahead.
So Trump did an interview with Miranda Devine.
Okay.
Actually. And maybe it was something else. I mean, he had the fight with Scott Bessent outside your office.
Yeah, well, they had not a fist fight, people, but I guess they had a little bit of a shouting match. But that's
Did you hear it?
That's typical. I heard a little bit. That's sort of typical.
It's typical.
Yeah.
That happened, actually.
And maybe it was something else. I mean, he had the fight with Scott Bessent.
That's got to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of fighting, but physical fighting between two grown men, that's a little surprising.
We've never had a physical fight on the show.
No. Not yet.
I don't know that we've ever yelled at each other, but we've certainly over the years working in super close proximity had very few times where we've had to say some things. You can't, the fact that there are disagreements, you do your best to, if you're engaging in conflict, you have to understand that the conflict exists because everybody believes that there's something better on the other side of the conflict. It can't be conflict for conflict's sake. Mm-hmm. Now imagine trying to save the future of the country. The pressure would be super, super high. And with the egos that are in play in that room at any given time, they all think they're absolutely right. And Donald Trump has had the wisdom to always surround himself with people who are passionate and brilliant at the things, at the category with which they're included in the conversation. Plus, Elon Musk was doing some stuff.
And I've seen those rumors for a long time, but you can't corroborate them, so you don't report on them. But just so people know what we're talking about, I pulled up the little quote of what it said the fight was. Because I have not heard that it was a fist fight. I heard they kind of were bumping a little bit. And this says, quote, Scott Bessent, "You're a fraud. You're a total fraud," unquote. And this is Steve Bannon saying this, but others have kind of echoed similar sentiment. Musk then rammed his shoulder into Bessent's rib cage like
is
a
that
rug.
how high Elon Musk is?
I don't know.
Did he lower or did he just run
Bessent's
straight at him?
tall too, though.
Yeah, he's super tall.
Musk then rammed his shoulder into Bessent's rib cage like a rugby player, Bannon said. And then Bessent hit him back. So maybe that is the fist part. I don't know. Multiple people stepped in to break up the scrum as the two men reached the national.
You think it was Will? He's going, guys.
Whoa,
guys. He's going like this,
guys. You're looking up. Break up the scrum as the two men reached the National Security Advisor's office, and Musk was shuffled out of the West Wing. President Trump heard about it and said, "This is too much."
Let's take a quick break. We'd love to know what you think about it. You can comment on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat and answer this question. Related, because it's all related. Did you vote for this? Let us know in the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Let's have some fun when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Civia Law, online at civialaw.com. You need to make this phone call, Missouri and Illinois alike, because he's got 7 locations in both Illinois and Missouri combined, for estate planning questions that you have, answers that you need, for elder law concerns that you might have. The first 10 listeners to call right now to 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. The first 10 listeners to call right now, you're going to get a free strategy session, basically comped because you called right away. That's a $300 value. You get to save it. You get to hear everything that Civia Law can do for you, and the amount of money that you can save by having an expert attorney plan out your trust, your wills, your powers of attorney, to have all of those T's crossed and I's dotted. The amount of money you can save will make your eyes bug out of your head. 833-995-WILL. That's the number to call. Mention me and get your free strategy session, a $300 value comped, if you're one of the first 10 callers right now. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. CiviaLaw.com.
Hi, this is Tammy Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online to retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review, and we'll teach you the strategy that has helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 39 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and whether you're looking for independent living, assisted living, or memory care, New Perspective gives you the freedom to live the life you love with just the right support. Beautiful apartments, amazing dining, plenty of activities. Check out npseniorliving.com today. New Perspective Senior Living, a friendlier approach to senior living.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This song goes out to from Ryan Wiggins to his favorite soda, Dr. Pepper. What states did you travel to on vacation?
Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Was that a love song?
I don't know. It
To
sounded
Dr.
like it
Pepper?
from you.
I'm trying to figure it out.
You know, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Ryan Wiggins, Dr. Pepper. Doctor is a she.
I mean, I do love it.
Is Dr. Pepper a he or a she to you?
A he.
Okay.
Now, Pib Extra is gender neutral now because it dropped the Mister. It's non-binary.
It's mixed Pib.
Can we not? Oh, we're going to get in trouble. This is not what I want to lose my job for.
And I really appreciate it when I still go to a restaurant and I see Mr. Pibb on there, and I'm like, yeah, darn right. Don't dead name it, but thank you.
There's a recall on cases of Dr. Pepper.
What?
Oh, no.
Has been upgraded due to a serious health risk.
Oh, no.
This story is like about you.
Is it also like got Haribo in there or something?
Just wait.
Oh, no.
So delicious.
Soda was only distributed to retailers in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Oh, no.
Did you drink any Dr. Pepper in South Carolina?
Can't say I didn't. I don't note every time I drink Dr.
Do
Pepper.
you drink
it's like
Dr.
an old
Pepper
lover.
every?
You
Okay.
just sort of visit
Oh,
it.
wow.
You visit it and you reacquaint yourself frequently, and then you move on.
Don't have your wife listen to this. Is she on summer break? We're all
Yes.
in big trouble when our spouses. It's like the first few weeks that our spouses are on summer break and they can actually listen to the show. We have a lot of regret. Like, crap, they're listening to us right now. On May 23rd, the United States Food and Drug Administration and Dr. Pepper issued a voluntary recall on 19,203 12-pack and 24 cases of 12-ounce cans of Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
I do drink that sometimes.
Well, it wasn't zero sugar.
Oh, it wasn't?
That's why they have the recall.
Wait, was it full of parasites or was it just sugared?
It kind of depends on your approach to sugar. On Thursday, the FDA's recall was upgraded to Class 2, which the organization describes as a, quote, situation in which use of or exposure to a violative product may cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences or where the probability of serious adverse health consequences is remote. The cans produced by Jacksonville, Florida-based Pepsi Beverages Company were labeled zero sugar. They were found to contain the full amount of sugar that is in a regular can, which is around 39 grams of sugar. Is that a lot?
It's low for a soda.
That's like you talking about your diabetes numbers. They're pretty low for a diabetic.
You know what? Because here's what I do. I mix now, because I'm trying to cut down on sugar a little bit. I'll mix regular Dr. Pepper and zero.
You have a problem.
Because I can't tell the taste.
Just go cold turkey on soda for like 2 weeks and then reintroduce
Mhm.
yourself to zero sugar and you will think that it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Super cool idea. No, thank you. I am going to continue to do what I do.
I only care about you.
And if that half had sugar, I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world. Now, if it had E. coli, then I think that'd be a different story. Although, I mean, my stomach's so screwed up. I probably wouldn't even know if I had E. coli.
Why is your stomach screwed up?
Just always is. Probably from all the crap I eat.
The sugar?
I mean, I never really know what the problem is. I just know that there's problems.
The recall only applies to Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar and not any other Dr. Pepper products. Have you ever consumed a recalled product?
With the amount of deli meat that I eat, I would assume yes.
You ever had listeria?
Probably.
Oh. That's why women who are pregnant should not eat deli meat unless you heat it up. Have you ever... I mean, I guess you could eat like a grilled sandwich.
It's just weird when you heat up deli meat because then it kind of flops around and you try to put it in your mouth and you're like, ew. I don't know. You just sort of like still kind of shove it in there. I don't want a hot sandwich though. I just want that hot meat. It's such a gross idea to heat up one piece of deli meat in the microwave. Because that's what I'm picturing. I'm sure you could heat up a whole sandwich, and that's fine. That would be the normal way to do it. But one piece of deli meat, you take that out and it's shaken.
You're unreal.
But the trade-off is listeria. So
it's a hard choice.
Yep, that and gout.
What do you get for breakfast at McDonald's?
Sausage biscuit.
Do you
Sometimes McGriddles.
when you go to McDonald's for breakfast, is it out of necessity? Is it out of like, hey, I am up and moving and have time to get McDonald's breakfast? When you go to eat breakfast at McDonald's, what's the motivation behind it?
It's not a luxury, but I would say it is sometimes a necessity. Because the time that we go on here, sometimes I'll grab breakfast on my way in so that I don't have to go back out to get something. And that's when I'll get a McDonald's breakfast. So
You get here at 10.
Well, I'll get here around then, but then you're not serving lunch yet. And then I don't want to get here and then immediately have to.
How many
go get
McDonald's do
something.
you pass on the way here? You could get breakfast and lunch on your way to work.
I don't think they're serving lunch at 10. And that's cutting it close,
Don't
too.
they
It's
serve
usually
lunch
earlier than that.
Don't they serve lunch 24 hours a day?
I don't know.
I thought breakfast is an addition. I thought you could get. I've never had a double cheeseburger at 8 a.m., but I thought you could if you wanted to in America.
I think it's possible that you can, but it's going to take a while because they're not making many of them.
Brad, if you're do you like McDonald's? Well, first of all, do you like McDonald's breakfast?
If I get McDonald's breakfast, I get the Egg McMuffin.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not very like I can't really do the sausages or the biscuits or anything like that, but I like the Egg McMuffin. It's my favorite.
Shelley says McDonald's breakfast is only out of convenience. I think it's a destination.
It's a mood.
I'm not going to argue with that.
It's for sure a mood.
It's a mood.
The only other Hardee's has great breakfast.
Yeah, they do.
And I have a Hardee's near me, so maybe that's why I like it. But I think Hardee's has a great breakfast. Do you ever care about the health factor in your McDonald's breakfast?
I try to eat less sugar and gluten than I used to. So if you want to say that is concerning myself, then yes. But I also still eat sugar and gluten. I just tried to reduce them. So not really.
So what you're saying is no.
If I go to McDonald's to get a sausage biscuit, a lot of that sandwich is biscuit, and that is like the most bleached flour gluten thing you could get.
Eatingwell.com has the 3 healthiest breakfast items you can get at McDonald's. Do you want to know what they are, or do you just not care and we should end the segment?
No. I'll listen and then I'll forget on purpose.
If one of these 3 things was something you would eat, would you be willing to keep eating it even though it is in fact healthy?
If I like the way it tastes.
Okay. Fruit and maple oatmeal.
No, thank you.
320 calories, 64 grams of carbs, 4 grams of fiber, 6 grams of protein. Egg McMuffin. Is that what you said you get?
Yep.
310 calories, half the carbs of the oatmeal.
Yeah.
2 grams of fiber, 3 grams of total sugar in an Egg McMuffin, and 17 grams of protein. And then a sausage burrito, which kind of surprised me. 310 calories, total carbs 25 grams, 1 gram of fiber, 13 grams of protein, total sugars 2 grams, total fat 17 grams. It's the fattiest of those 3. But high protein, low sugar. Are you getting any of those?
A little surprised that bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles isn't on there.
The steak bagel sandwich isn't on there either.
I should have read the paragraph or the sentence right before this chart. It says, as you peruse the McDonald's breakfast menu, you're better off steering clear of biscuits, McGriddles, hash browns, and hotcakes.
Man, those McGriddles are something else, though. That's a genius of modern invention. They put little pockets of syrup in the biscuit.
It's a pancake.
Whatever. It's great.
It's a pancake with an M on it.
I know. I know. That's how you know it's real.
Do you eat any if you go to any fast food restaurant, is health a factor for you at all?
Not really, other than the fact that I am trying to eat a little bit less sugar and gluten. But if I'm going to fast food, if I'm going to fast food, it's like I've already kind of succumbed to the fact that it's not going to be good. So, but here's the thing with the breakfast foods. You know who else has pretty good breakfast? Taco Bell. Surprisingly good breakfast.
Never had it. What do you eat?
I think I just eat whatever they are doing that month because they change it up. But one of the things I love getting there
here's no definitive answers.
Here's the discipline that I'm trying to get to.
You just said
yeah, sure.
You just
I'll
said
eat that.
You just said Taco Bell has like the best breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I said, what do you eat? And then you're like, I don't know. Whatever they're serving.
Whatever their thing is that month, that they're like $5 for a Crunch Wrap.
Again,
Sure.
it's about the money.
Yeah, exactly. But I will discipline myself, and I want credit for this, on not getting the giant pack of Cinnabon minis. Those little...
Do you get the small pack?
That'll get you in trouble.
Sometimes I'll get the 2-pack because they're so good. But if you get the 12, first of all...
How many are you eating?
They're expensive.
How many?
They're like $1 a piece or something ridiculous.
If
Not
you
quite
cave
there, but...
and you get the 12-pack, how many are you eating on your own?
The last time I got the 12-pack, it was with my 2 sons, and we each had 4. So my answer is 4.
No. You haven't talked about the time when you were by yourself and you got the 12-pack.
I don't think that I have gotten it by myself because I'm disciplined. That's the whole point. That's why I brought up Taco Bell at all, is because I've shown restraint.
Yeah, everybody
at that
brings up
particular
Taco Bell to talk
establishment.
about discipline.
Discipline.
That's what I do. And look, I'm a free American man. I could go to Taco Bell every single morning and get a huge pack. I could get multiple. I could get a 48-pack if I wanted to.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a
you
free
wouldn't,
man.
because you'd complain all day about how much it costs.
I wouldn't. That's one of the reasons I don't. But that, again, shows discipline. And they're high in sugar. Because they're full of cream. It's so good. Oh, my gosh.
Once it hits your lips. All right, let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll up on the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now. Did you vote for this? Yes, all of it. Mixed emotions. You're an unhappy Trump voter, or no, you didn't vote for Trump. I think we're adding texting, aren't we? Yeah. Do we have access to that yet?
Not yet.
Pretty soon. We still want you to vote in the YouTube live chat poll every day, but pretty soon you're going to be able to text us. That's kind of cool. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Ethan back in here and the results of the poll right before we wrap it up and hand it over to Mark Reardon. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Nobody on these streets. If you told me that the world's ending, ain't no other way that I can spend it.
STS-armory.com. We were driving home from the airport and crossing over 111, and my husband goes, I got to get out to STS Armory. It's like his happy place. It could be yours as well. If you're looking for anything Second Amendment related, if you're looking for protection, if you're looking for security, if you're looking for preparedness, if you're just looking for questions to be answered, STS Armory, Katie and Jesse Johnson are the go-to to make sure that you are satisfied with whatever you're looking for. They're going to help you with that. They have the answers to the questions. If they don't have them, and they probably do, they will find them for you. If you want to call them and talk to them about classes and courses that they teach, like conceal and carry courses, renewal courses, basic training courses, drawing from concealment courses, ladies only courses, all of it. It's right there at 618-931-GUNS. People, for Father's Day, please consider going to STS Armory, getting a gift card, and surprising Dad with something from STS Armory. He is going to love that. 618-931-GUNS. Celebrate Father's Day with STS Armory. Learn more online at sts-armory.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, did you vote for this? Yes, all of it, mixed emotions, unhappy Trump voter, or no, didn't vote for Trump. Those are your four options for did you vote for this? We'll give you the results of this poll in a couple minutes. It is 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting set to go here on a Wednesday afternoon. We're going to get the Kansas City view of the stadium bill. Alex Gold, who is at one of our sister stations, is going to join us. Brian Kilmeade at the bottom of the hour. It all gets rolling right after Fox News at 3.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
So I mentioned that all three of us here are married to public school teachers, not public school teachers, but school teachers. One of us is not married to a public school teacher, but just a regular teacher, or maybe a better teacher. We'll let them fight about it.
Yeah, like Musk and Besant.
And then he/she lowered their shoulder. Yeah.
And Trump said, this is too much.
You got Trump to say it's too much. It's funny. So our spouses could at any time be listening to the show, but we're probably overindulging ourselves and thinking that they would want to. Let's be honest. They're not listening. I sent this article out to the team. It was like, hey, can we talk about this? And everybody agreed it was fine. It's from CNBC. I'm a psychologist who studies couples. The top 4 things couples fight about in relationships. Number 1 can lead to divorce. The number 1 is tone of voice or attitude.
Ooh.
So in my relationship with my husband, I am when it's time to argue, this is shocking everybody. I am more of the talker than he is. And I think that I don't know if that's the case in every relationship, if the woman is more of the talker or the listener, but I also am aware that I can be good at arguing, and therefore I will try to hold back as much as I can until I feel like I can't be quiet about it anymore. Are you the talker in an argument in your house, Ryan?
No, I think we're both talkers, so we kind of go back and forth depending on the topic. And it depends on who's passionate about what. You know, am I defending something or am I, trying to move the ball forward on something, and you kind of go back and forth.
Because I feel the way now my husband and I have been married since 2007, which makes it 17 and a half years. The way we have argued over the course of our relationship, either when we were dating, are we boring you? Are you okay?
No, you're fine. No, you're doing a great show.
The biggest yawn I've ever seen.
It was it was a little yawn.
I actually heard it before I saw it, and I looked over, and you almost ate that microphone. We should fight about it right now and see who the talker really is.
Look, hosting takes a lot out of you.
Tomorrow, I am going to just yawn through Wiggins America. I'm not going to drink my Scooter's coffee. I was gone for a week and a half. I thought scooters might have thought I was dead. They were happy to see me. Are you good?
Oh, I'm fine.
We're almost
Yeah,
done.
no, it was a genuine yawn. It wasn't a boredom yawn.
That's even worse.
I'm actually just tired. I've been doing a lot. But you're doing a great job, though.
Thanks.
That's what that yawn was meant
As
to convey.
evidenced by the fact that you'd rather be napping.
We have to convey these things because we're the talkers. So,
You just said you weren't.
well, I said I could be either. And in this circumstance, I'm talking because you didn't receive my yawn properly.
Oh, it's my fault. You're yawning in the middle of the
I
show.
had to explain it.
Yeah, mansplain it. See, when a man yawns while a woman is talking.
It means he's interested
False.
in what she's saying.
17 years of marriage. We dated for about 3.5 years. Conflict and arguing and disagreement has looked very different over those years. Would you, in your relationship with your wife, Ryan, would you say that it's been pretty steady the way you deal with conflict, or has that evolved with your relationship?
It's evolved. We've gotten better at it. I mean, you just know each other better in a lot of ways, so you know how to approach an issue where you wouldn't have before. You also know your own trigger points worse or better, so you know how to avoid those things too.
What about you, Brad?
I am the talker.
Yeah.
Like, very much the talker. And that was a point of contention in our relationship early on because you talked about this a little bit earlier, but the point of conflict is to resolve or come to a resolution. And that's how I come to a resolution. And my wife was not that kind of person, did not enjoy conflict, would avoid it.
You said
as
was
much.
not. Does she enjoy it now?
She understands where it's coming from now, and
Yeah.
then we're able to come to a resolution. That doesn't mean that we're like shouting at one another or anything like that, but I'm still the talker.
Is it interesting when you're arguing in a relationship that some people, it's not always one or the other, but people I think have leanings and tendencies that there might be somebody in the relationship that needs a feeling resolved, and then there are people in the relationship that need an outcome resolved. Are you more one than the other?
Gosh, it's so hard because I probably could be either. I would say about myself, I need the outcome resolved so that I can have peace. But ultimately, it's the peace that I'm looking for, so that's an emotional resolve. It's very complicated. I'm a complicated man.
Stop talking.
I'm a free
Brad,
man.
Brad,
Go to
talk.
Taco Bell every morning if I
Stop
wanted
it.
to.
Go back to sleep.
I very rarely can I find a resolution to the feelings that I have. So to me, it's better not to worry about that because.
What does that mean? You don't. How can you not
Well,
find?
The only thing that fixes is how I'm feeling is time. I just have to let the emotion go away, and I don't want to have a fight over just the emotion. So
Does the emotion actually go away, or does it just subside until next time?
no, it actually goes away. So, and it's something that I have to deal with internally. I can't ask somebody to make me happy. That's not fair to them. Or make me not mad. That's not fair to them. But if there's an external factor, if we can solve the problem, I'm all about. That's usually what gets me going.
My position is I'm usually an outcome person. If I'm arguing, it's because of an outcome. But where I have probably made the most self-progress is being able to identify when it's not really about an outcome, it is really about a feeling or emotion. And now I can just, I'm much more open to the idea of saying, when you said this or when you did this, it really hurt my feelings. And I almost always in those instances be like, I know this isn't what you meant. I know your intention wasn't to be hurtful, but this is how I heard it. And then if that is the case, my husband is like, I did not mean that. And I'm sorry that your feelings were hurt. And then that's kind of the end of it. But for whatever reason, earlier in the relationship, there's a lot of games. Like, nobody wants to say, my feelings are hurt because you did this or said this. And then if you never, I just think this far into marriage, almost 18 years into marriage, I just don't have the time to play the games anymore. I'm not going days with my spouse waiting for him to try to understand the thing that upset me. Has the time you're willing to argue about something shortened?
You know, it's weird. I would say the amount of things we're willing to argue about has decreased.
Oh, that
instead.
too. That too.
It's more that we got a little fight, and then we just kind of don't talk about it, and we know, you know what, by tomorrow this probably won't matter, and we never talk about it, which is the opposite of what professionals tell you.
You have to be able to identify, though, when you're saying like things that you can just let go. You have to be able to identify the things you can let go or the things that you're going to let go but hold on to with just 2 fingers back here just in case you need it.
Yes, those are the worst because everybody does it. But we've kind of gotten to a place where it's like if it's not a really big fight, we just kind of let it go and then go, do we need to talk about this the next day or two? And if we don't, we just kind of move on.
Ethan, you want to talk about your new marriage?
What would you like to hear?
Are you somebody who, in an argument once, or a conflict, doesn't have to be an argument, doesn't have to be a slap fight or anything, but are you somebody who is usually seeking an outcome resolution or an emotional resolution? Like you want to be made to feel better about something, or all I want is for this outcome to happen?
That's a really good question. I think that I am outcome, but also it takes having to actively sometimes fight the emotion that a disagreement or an argument brings.
I feel you, brother. I feel you.
Here we go.
I feel you in my soul.
He woke up to tell you that.
Yeah. I was about to pass out over
I
here.
missed what he was
talking about
asleep.
emotions and stuff, and I'm like, yo.
Maybe he's sleepwalking. Sleep talking.
I heard about that.
That was a good hour.
It was your last hour, wasn't it?
It was.
It was the last
Nothing
thing.
to lose now.
It was his Friday.
I appreciate that. We could talk more about this another time, and when Ryan is more with us. We'll fight about it off air.
May have to wait till next Monday.
I'm going to give Ryan the loudest cold shoulder here in a couple of minutes.
Not a cold shoulder. Give me a Besant shoulder.
Right in the ribs.
Did Elon Musk throw the shoulder?
Oh, it's Musk. That's
yeah,
right.
we'll have to make sure we know our roles. All right, let's go, Ethan.
277 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Did you vote for this? Yes, all of it. Mixed emotions, unhappy Trump voter, or no, didn't vote Trump. 1% are unhappy Trump voters. 4% say no, they didn't vote for Trump. 11% have a mixed emotions, and an overwhelming 83% say yes, they voted for all of it.
All right, you did vote for this, or at least so you say. Thank you for being with us. I'm so happy to be back. Everybody here, Manny Fry Show, thank you for holding down the fort while I was gone. Everybody loves you. I do too. Keep it here. Mark Reardon, next.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
You know, I always said for years to save my number in your phone so you don't forget. And here's why. Today, I was calling the office. So I mentioned the office number. I probably have said it, not to exaggerate, over 1,000 times. I called the office today and I dialed the wrong number. When it connected, it